Hello, MGTOWs. Hello, men. This is your usual Sunday throwdown. Today we're going to start off with Shining and Zeta, and we're going to probably talk about a variety of subjects today. We're going to talk about the Mgtow monks, like always. We're going to talk about the wolves in sheep clothing that we get around here, and Shining's going to do his mailbag. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Good morning, everyone in the chat room. And
Go ahead.
Talk about the wolves.
whoops, excuse me, guys.
That we get around here.
Yeah, good. We're good now. Just a little adjustment from my end. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, obviously it's late afternoon up here in the UK or down, depending what globe you're studying.
Yes, over in the globe of that side, we've also for those in the southern, southwestern tip of Europe. Good afternoon.
So you're underwater there, Shining, huh?
Oh yeah, that's right. We've had 3 torrential days of rain, and Yorkshire is flooded. And it's a pity you guys aren't on my phone. Otherwise, I could send you the video that's the videos that people are passing around. But yeah, it's not just a small area, because it's obviously the UK's been suffering from flooding for a while now. It's huge areas. A crotch deep in water.
A crotch deep.
Are the
Crotch
women
deep in water, and
are the women hiding in their houses, bailing?
yeah, not a woman to be seen anywhere.
No, it's to be seen anywhere.
So if anybody's got a surfboard, now's your time. If you're in Yorkshire, you can use your surfboard to,
Yeah. Well, we've got an action-packed, fun-packed throwdown for you guys today. Haven't we, gentlemen? We've got the mailbag coming up, obviously, and obviously everybody's favourite, the film reviews.
Film reviews.
Yeah, a couple of interesting films coming out, and if we're lucky, we've got Salucci coming on. That's a nice little surprise.
That's going to be, absolutely. That's going to be an interesting one.
We've got Salucci coming on. Oh boy, can't wait. Is he going to dance?
Oh, we'll just wait and see. Just wait and see.
Okay. So what happened today? Well, we had the Throwdown event, the massive 24-hour hangout this week, and we had some interesting videos made. We had a concerning video made with, again, one of our favorite video makers, the guy that everybody couldn't wait to make a video, and Spatsnez, and he put out a doozy, this week. What's he saying is men need women. Is that what he's saying? Or men need the touch of women? Go back to the traditional. Go back, get yourself one of those, and you'll just be a happier man. Somehow, my idea that is it's magic thinking, and that somehow the touch of a female can transfer from your body and somehow magically heal you.
Did you watch it, Zeta? Did you watch it, Zeta?
Yeah, I watched it, and I was just thinking about that. This seems to be the resounding counterpart to our direction, and to wherever a Mgtow might want to go, and in self-direction. And this is the thing. This is the argument they're going to throw at us all. Well, it's been scientifically proven, and that we need to be touched, and we need to have all these things because it's going to improve your longevity. They're going to throw that at you, okay?
They're going to throw that.
And of course, I'm sure the research papers are all out there, that we need to touch and all that. But you know what? I question all those men throughout history, who renounced, and went celibate and lived out their lives accordingly. I mean, I think the argument here is this a scare tactic for us?
It's a scare tactic. It's magic.
It is a scare and magical thinking, and it's to put everybody up against the wall with this one, because this is the ultimate addiction, if you will, Yeah, and I just want to throw that one out there, and let's hear some thoughts from the guys. Let's go about this intelligently.
Warhorse says Spets says touch not necessarily from a woman, but I don't want a man touching me.
Oh, come on, that's even worse.
And we got a perfect example of this. Look at the monks of Athos. the monks of Athos generally live to 82 years old or longer.
Good example. Mount Athos.
A proper diet without women, and I'm sure they don't touch each other. I'm sure there's a commonality between them where they just there's a certain respect where men do not touch each other. A hug from another man is a simple gesture, a sign of it's a sign of affection. But you do not sit there and cuddle with another man on a couch, and that's what they're trying to say. Cuddling with a woman, and then they bring on that, oh well, a hug from a brother. No, I don't want another brother. I shake hands with the man. I may do the pat on the back real quick, and then I remove myself from that experience. I do not need touch. That's metaphysical, magical thinking in my eyes, and these guys got to get over that. The monks of Athos live very, very long, and there's no touching there, none. And we can look at monks all over the world and see this thing. So, what do you guys think about that? You think it's a trap? It's just like selling crack to crack addicts, isn't it?
Well, it's along those lines, but it's underexplored. It's just the way that they're dangling this in front of us and make us reconsider. You know, it's like, ooh, you know, they're really playing with the back of our minds there. Ooh, you need to be touched and all that shit. And
how old are these guys?
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
How old are these guys anyway?
Yeah, how old are these guys? You know, it tells me a lot about their maturity too, and it tells me a lot about their development. And when I look at the human being, I look at how the mind develops, and we're very smart here. We've looked at all this stuff. We looked at the development. Babies need touch because of the cortisone level, and it reduces the cortisone. But if you know anything about cortisone levels in babies, you know that generally lasts between 5 months and 5 years, depending on the stress in the pregnancy. So there's a certain amount of touch that reduces and they need to be soothed, is what they're saying. They need to be soothed.
I tried to watch the video. I tried to watch Spetsnaz's video. I couldn't understand what he was saying, so I read the comments. I don't really know why he made that video, but I mean, you likened it to drug addicts, and I think, well, if you look at the symptoms of female addiction, you know, because obviously we're accusing these guys of being addicted to the vagina.
They're being addicted to the vagina.
And they've got the same symptoms, guys.
Right.
They've got the same symptoms. Exactly. Someone who's addicted, it's like they know it's bad for them, but they try and justify it. You know, they justify it to themselves why they need this. Why they need this.
The people in science are serving us up a bunch of bullshit about that, because when you get addicted to that stuff, all you're doing is you're addicted to the bacteria of a woman, where she turns on that pleasure center of your brain. Now you can't just generally turn that pleasure center off. It takes months of getting off that, and in your bacterial level, which clogs your neurons and sends those those signals to the other side, because nothing goes through the blood-brain barrier. It's all a neuronal process that sends signals. When those signals stop, the chemicals stop, and then these men get the withdrawal. When they start embracing, when they start touching, when they start having sex with women, the chemicals start flowing again, and that's where they get addicted to it. They need that to happen. They need that to happen all the time. They're not comfortable within their own skin. They're addicts.
Yeah. And that explains, Joe, why, you know, if a guy goes on that and he's in that chemical thing going on, and all of a sudden she breaks up, what do typically guys do? They're going to try and find a replacement, you know, to keep that high going all the time. And if you can't find, if you slip into, let's say, into an incel, you become a TFL. Just as an example, that neurochemistry is going to stick around for at least 6 months to a year, if not longer, for some guys.
Right.
And that's being looked upon as coming down from an obsessive compulsive disorder. Barbarossa made reference to that. And I'm sure guys who've gone through that breakup process, I mean, you know, they've been through it. Okay, so putting 2 and 2 together here, Joe, is what I'm suggesting.
Right, yeah. If you want to get rid of that quicker, there's certain ways you can get rid of it quicker. I've explained it. I know these guys don't believe it, and I gave them a proof, and but the science, the people in medical sciences won't release, because they don't want men coming off of that. Who was in the room there? Was that Zero?
Oh yeah. Well, I was just going to mention that as he left.
Yeah. It's just popped out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was that, sorry?
That was Link Blue, everybody's
Oh, Link
favorite.
Blue? Oh, okay.
Everybody's
All right.
favorite Mgtow leader.
Was that Link Blue? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if you had something to say, Link, come back. Oh, well, I think that was Link Blue.
Yeah, was that he has to introduce himself. I was getting ready to introduce him, but he popped back out. Okay. Okay. So you know it's just magic thinking, and it's leading men down. It's the wolf in sheep clothing that want. You know what happens in the psychiatric business, and we know a lot of these guys work with their LSWs. They work with men, and they work. If Mgtow starts curing these things, and men start curing their addictions to that, guess what happens to their business? They're going to be treating women, because it's only women that have psychological problems then.
Well, exactly, and isn't the psychological industry all gynocentric?
Yeah,
it's all gynocentric.
Industry is gynocentric, and they rely on men to come in there that have been hurt, that have been destroyed by relationships, don't understand how these things work, because they don't get this information, this proper information from the same industry. The same industry is holding back proper information and telling them to go get laid, go use a woman as a fucking tool, and that's what they're saying. And that's, who's being misogynistic, who's being hateful at that point. They're saying we don't do those things. We don't use women like that. We're respectful. We don't do those things. They're saying go, and then they'll throw it back that we're being misogynistic and we're being hateful. We're not being hateful. We're just telling the truth.
But that's this whole cycle, Joe. When you get into that loop, into that mental health care loop, they break you down, okay, make you assume responsibility for it. Then you're fine after your 20 sessions. This is what they do here in Canada. And then off you go for the next 2 years, off on that dating thing and all this. Sure enough, the same thing happens again, and then you're back at it again, going to see a mental health specialist, because and they're going to tell you it's cyclic. It keeps going and going, and they're treating the symptoms. They're not getting down to the core of authenticity. That's what we're doing here. We're opening up doors, for men to follow that path, to get on that path of authenticity.
Right. These men need this. These men that are having problems with this, they need to start living within their skin naturally as men, and they will find a certain happiness with this. They will find a certain joy that will take away all that depression. It will take away all that bullshit, all that male mother need, or whatever they call it, and all that garbage is going to come out of you. As soon as you start acting like a man, you remove yourself from all those situations. You can look at life in a very, very realistic sense then. And then this thing works. But we get these people throwing these little wrenches in these things and trying to, you know what it is? It's a slow walk back to the farm. They're slow. He might as well say, he's raising a simp farm over there. And
and he's doing it by implying doubt. Geez, guys, it's good to go your own way. He's done a half dozen videos about going your own way and why it's important, and then this gets thrown in. Okay?
I'm surprised.
And this is typical.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I was shocked when he said that, because it's magic thinking, and he himself knows it's magic thinking.
Well, I've noticed there's something about the bigger channels. It's like, I know you've heard me say it before, but as soon as they get to like a certain number, a lot of these guys they change their tone, they change their colors, don't you think? It's like
but they're coming in with that angle all the time. Science has proven.
What's the commonality? Yeah, what's the commonality when their message lightens and starts going to this? They all start dating at that point, and then their message lightens, and then they start showing their simp qualities, and then they start throwing these things back. And what they're doing is they're just trying to justify why they're doing what they're doing. And they're no longer a Mgtow at that point. And they're no longer in the interest of Mgtow. And somebody's got to speak up. I'm the guy. Hey, I've never been quiet about these things.
We know.
Yeah, but we've been seeing it happening over the years. I mean, like Evan Clevey,
right.
Paul Elam, who else was talking? All those guys that were... I found out recently that Paul Elam's first or old account was called Happy Misogynist.
Yeah, I remember those two.
Yeah.
Well, what a change of tone that that guy's brought then. And I was thinking, well, that's what's going on with some of our our I don't know what to call our peers, our pioneers, our peers of Mgtow.
Our
It's like
peers and pioneers, yeah, they get called pioneers and they get called peers. But we know, we've seen this with Barbarossa. Now he's dating. Now he's making less videos. He's not really saying it. We see this with Spetsnaz. He's dating now. We even see this with Stardust saying he's good, thinking about dating, and his message is lightening up, and it's going back to the gynocentric. Hey guys, this is a great. If you're looking for that test, you're looking for that scientific mole test, to run your RK theory and whatever you're doing with that theory in your head. Look at this, and it'll tell you exactly what happens when you start dating. You become a simp. You become a simp for the tradcons, a simp for the gynocentric. You're going to become a utility then.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Warhorse is just telling us that the race, the biker race, they hug and kiss their brothers. I mean, it's interesting. Always interesting to learn about other races, cultures, isn't it? But it's not necessarily a life and death thing, because one of my favourite heroes, as you all know, is Richard Panecki. Richard Panecki, he was celibate for something like half his life, and he lived right up until 90 years old. So
yeah,
he built a.
So it's a metaphysical thing, but there's some real. You can get the same results from if you just need that touch and you need that, go get a back massager, an electronic back massager, put it on your chair and turn that freaking thing on, because that's going to give you the same results as what you're talking about. Go get and it'll tell you there's nothing metaphysical that's being exchanged between a man and a woman. There's no this metaphysical love muscle that we find that's in the spiritual world does not happen. Get a back massager, and if you want to go to a masseuse, go to a masseuse and and that will lower your stress. That will lower your and what we're talking about here is lowering stress and living longer. When you bring a woman into your life, you're going to have stress, and you're not going to live as long.
Definitely. In fact, if
and there is science for that too, Joe. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely science for that, because as we know,
definite science for that. Yeah.
We personally know men that have died getting after finishing a relationship with a woman. Yeah, right. I think the stress and the I don't want to go fall back onto old cliches, but we all know the stress and the heartache and pain that women can cause men.
Right,
I think there's a lot
we know
more
it all too well
than the benefits of a little hug now and again.
Yeah, we're not talking about a little hug from you walk up to your brother, you do the special handshake that you guys configured over the years, and and then you give him a pat on the back. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing. My concerns with this is they're just it's the cuddling and getting close to the woman and doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that with a man. I don't enjoy that at all.
But for some reason that makes us very unpopular. Our point of view on this, our perspective, it seems to make us very unpopular. So I argue that maybe when these channels, when these ex-Mgtow channels, when these ex-misogynistic channels, they get beyond like 10,000, they sort of get a taste for the fame. It must be a taste for the fame. A little bit of money comes in, they get female attention. I'm sure amongst once the channel gets like 10,000, they're getting female attention, and they're wanting to grow their channel even more. They're seeing even more guys come in, and then all of a sudden, they've got they're talking to some woman, and she's not bad looking, and I think that's where it's at with these guys.
Yeah, that's the typical gynocentric move. If a woman sees that you've got a popular YouTube channel that's making money online and you're doing it through, what are they going? They're going to be more attracted to you because they don't see the channel, they don't hear these things, and that's what.
They're attracted to that popularity.
Their popularity. So look at our three major producers now. Our three major producers all have been infected by the gynocentric. And that tells you about what's going to happen in society. It just does. If you have a job that you're making good money out there, you can apply the same things. You can apply the very same things that you're going to get. You're going to get interest from the gynocentric, whether that be and in this case, in these rooms, you're going to get interest from the feminists that are going to see you as a fucking utility then.
Well,
How often will they look at you as a utility? That's the other thing to consider too as well.
It's interesting you bring the feminists into this, because obviously the bigger the Mgtow channel, or the bigger the MRA channel, the bigger the target it will be for.
The bigger the target you'll be. Don't you think that it's sort of NWO and a conspiracy theory, but don't you think they're looking at you? Don't think they're gonna try to?
They've sold out, haven't they? These guys. Let's just say it. Let's just call
sold out. They've sold
out. They've sold out to the pussy. So where's Steve Holker he says it better than anyone. You know, they've sold out to the pussy begging and to the feminists and to the vagina, and yeah, you know, they're talking the talk, not anymore. You know, they've toned their message down, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how it makes us the target then, you know, anyone that's talking about celibs.
Oh, we will become a target. I mean, for some of the stuff that we've revealed right now, we're going to be called homophobes, okay, because we don't like to hug and all that stuff. And I mean, just wait for it. Just wait for it. You know, if they're going to be listening in on this, and you know, if we're even going to be in the media, ooh, those Mgtow monks, ooh, you know, bad men. You know, we're going to be painted as such. You know what? I say, bring it on. I like the heavy metal element to all this, right? How heavy metal made bands popular back in the 70s.
Yeah. I
see the same thing here to an extent.
So how should we deal with this? You know, when some of our let's face it, there were previously our Mgtow heroes. You know, these were the type of guys we used to look up to. These are the type of guys we used to learn from, and all of a sudden they've changed their tone, and they're basically going back to the plantation.
You know what I say to that, Shining? I say thank you for all the information that you've provided. Right. I mean, to every extent, because at the end of the day, it's up to the individual Mgtow to discern for himself, find out for himself individually. We can talk about it collectively and all, but at the end of the day, that's where the firm decision comes back. It comes back to the individual himself.
Yeah, they can move along, do their own thing. But,
that's right. I mean, we're going to talk about it. We're going to open up all the doors. We're going to take it all apart, you know, with no holds barred. We'll take it apart. But at the end of the day, the individual will make that decision for themselves.
Yeah, but if people start rejecting you, you're going to need to move on to a different community where they have the MRA communities and everything. You can talk.
That's right.
And that's fine. Move along to the MRA community. But don't say Mgtow never gave you anything. Don't say Mgtow's bad or this or that or whatever. Just move along. Quietly do it, and that's fine. But don't try to stick around here and infect all of Mgtow with that disease. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's going to work anymore. I mean, those guys that are showing up here, okay, are now working the program, you know, in commonality with what we're talking about. We're going to stick around, and that's where the natural weeding out process will happen. And it'll happen in such a way that one guy will disagree with us. Well, I think the MRA side makes more sense, and I think that we should be more active and you know, and influence policy. By all means, go and join them. That's not what we're about. We're changing policy within ourselves, and we talk about that amongst ourselves, but it's still an individual trip, okay?
Yeah,
that's Mgtow. That's a Mgtow I understand.
We know here that our policies and what we believe in are not going to be popular. We're looking at a small majority of men that believe in this way of thinking. And that's fine. That's all I'm looking for is a small majority of men that are like me, agree with me, say things like me, and practice these things like me. And that's going to change every single day. I see 50 guys drop off, 50 guys come, 50 guys drop off. It doesn't mean they're not getting anything from what I'm providing.
It's always been like that, hasn't it? I mean, Mgtow's always been...
It's going to be like that, and the other thing too is this is a heavy-duty learning phase in a man's life, okay? And it's a heavy-duty learning. It's going to involve some heavy decisions for yourself, okay? And so in that process, yeah, you're going to be susceptible. They're going to throw all kinds of things at you for you to consider. But at the end of the day, who's going to make that decision?
Right, yeah. At the end of the day, it's up to them to make that decision. But what happens here, if there's no Joes or no Messengers or no Shinings and no Zetas at this end of the monk scale or whatever they want to call it, then Mgtow's through. Mgtow's done because they're just going to be a bunch of pussy beggars, and they're going to be the MRA then.
That's it.
Well, it's interesting to see what their channels have become. I mean, once you start basically abandoning the message of watch out for the hypergamy, watch out for gynocentrism. Once you've abandoned that, I mean, what else does a Mgtow channel have? You've got a Sargon of Akkad channel, and I think that I honestly believe that's what these guys are trying to achieve. They're trying to get to that, capture that Sargon audience.
The Sargon, the Akkad audience and everything, and he's slightly MRA-ish. He's more social justice warrior than anything.
He's basically atheist, anti-feminist channel. That's it. The atheist anti-feminist channel. They've seen how the atheist community obviously is in massive turmoil. Well, the serious ones, the ones that used to discuss about theology and anti-creationism and so forth, and they sort of just went on to anti-feminism, and they managed to capture a lot of audience from that, and that's what I see happening to Stardust channel. Basically, he's emulating Sargon of Akkad, criticize whatever's on the news. That's what he'll talk about, and he'll have a very atheistic, anti-feminist. Well, I mean, and that's what Stanman does as well. I mean, he just talks on anything that he can. And
that watered down message is fine for those kind of guys, but the risk is, and the inherent risk of this whole thing is still there, and it depends how you want to live your life. That's fine for those kind of, but we'll keep our hands off of those guys if they keep their hands off of our section too. But they don't seem to want to keep their hands off of our section.
They sort of all linked, aren't they? It's like they all go around in these little circles, and whenever they find, whenever they get offended, they like to band together. Some of these guys. It's funny because I was watching one of those offense, defense, attack videos or whatever, and they were accusing one of us for being offensive or being. Well, let's face it, being not PC. I mean, that's basically what we are. We're very, very not PC. And he was saying basically, oh, look at all these people you've offended, all my friends. And this guy that was saying this, he hates half those people. I've heard him. In fact, his first videos were against half of these people. So he's like joining hands with his old enemies to come and attack us. So very ironic.
Oh, they're like women. They have no ability to look at themselves. I had an argument once with one guy. He was saying, well, who is it? A very popular producer, Pop. He was saying, you guys are offensive, but Terrence Pop is okay. Did you ever listen to a Terrence Pop video?
Exactly.
Yeah, he would say he's 10 times more misogynistic than me.
They like him because he's popular. Tevens Pop. Everybody likes Tevens Pop. He's a funny guy. He's got a lot of people watching. But he said the same thing.
He was in the first 5 minutes of the video that I pointed out. He said he should throw a girl on the ground, shove it in her, slap her upside her head, and he made it all in satire. I did a video about how the MRAs like to use satire to do that, and it's funny. No, it's not funny to me. It's not funny to me because I can see through that satire, and I see that as them are the real haters, and we're just walking away. I don't want nothing to do with the woman. I don't hate them. I don't love them. I'm indifferent to them. And they perceive that as hate. Those guys are fucked up in their head.
It's funny because they hate us.
They hate us.
They hate us to actually quite a big extreme. So. They hate us, and then they criticize us for being men haters.
That's the heavy metal formula right there. That's in our favor, or may well be in our favor. I think it's part and part. It's kept us going without us realizing that.
They don't see the hypocrisy these guys are doing.
Yeah, they don't see the hypocrisy in it, and it drives me crazy. It's like, oh my God, you guys don't see the hypocrisy in that? And then I usually say those kind of lines to them, and then they go, no, but you guys just hate. They're presuming there's some presupposition that I hate. No, I don't. I'm just indifferent to it.
Yeah.
Well, let's read some of the hate mail that.
Let's get into it.
Let's do some mailbag hate mail.
Yeah, obviously, they haven't been. They haven't been sending me any, so I've had to. He won't mind. Messenger won't mind. I've hacked into Messenger's inbox and I've ripped up some of his email.
You're gonna make some Messenger hate mail today?
He won't mind. Well, he's a nice guy. Yeah, mashallah. Okay, this was sent immediately. Here we go. Dear Mgtow monkeys. Oh, you see what he's done there?
Monkeys. Oh, okay.
A play on words.
He's taken keys. He's added it to monk. It's monkeys, Mgtow monkeys. You see, very clever. Dear Mgtow monkeys, you may wield a mighty big stick within this community, but you are silencing the reasonable voices, the ones fueled by research and STEM studies, the ones seeking to understand female nature and evo psych. So I suppose now you have free run of the place for the foreseeable future. It's funny how your hateful and narcissistic alpha Mgtow voices have outed reason from the commune. You stand tall and proud now that the dust has settled. CS, Nico, and Salucci put their trust in you. What? Seriously?
What?
No, you have
okay, well, that speaks volumes right there.
Now you have ruined their careers, their self-confidence, and their love life. Oh. They will be missed a great deal by the commune. They will be missed by me and my friends.
By the commune? Okay, strike two. Strike 2 out of 5 strikes, whichever one you want to go. But I'm still listening, yeah.
Yeah, Charlie, but my friends, okay, as we used to get together at night sometimes and play some video games and had lots of laughs and good times fueled by their quality content they put on a daily basis. But now it seems that the narcissistic, egotistical, self-important, hateful, spiteful, and toxic women haters have won out. Farewell, Nico and CS. Oh, so it's our fault that Nico and CS has left.
See, these guys always do that. They don't have the gumption, or they don't have the man balls to stick around and keep with the Mgtow message. It takes I'll always say it takes a lot of balls to stick with this Mgtow monk message. But these guys don't have the kahunas to do it. And then on their way out, somebody's got to blame somebody, and that's more magic thinking. This guy was just he wants to sit around with his buds and play videos. You can do that anywhere. Come on, go to what's that favorite that common war game? Go over there and play with those guys and stroke each other's egos. Not here. Yeah, not here.
How can you blame Messenger or any of us for CS and Nico leaving? And he's blaming us for Dark Knight leaving as well.
Hey, if you can't, sink or swim around here. It's sink or swim.
It's unbelievable. We had nothing to. I mean, you're always going to get your detractors. If you put your video out there, if you put your ideas out there, yeah, you need to be prepared to get them shot down. If they're strong, supported ideas, then you should be able to back them up with further. Arguments.
You know what? Not one of us in this group has ever gone over their video and shot anything down they say. What they're arguing about is them having a disagreement with what we say and then getting all butthurt about it and then leaving.
You know what it seems like? It's like, yeah, exactly that. It's like Messenger said something, and then these guys got upset at Messenger, so they bitched at Messenger. Messenger didn't do anything, so they got upset and left. I said, look, you made me leave.
You made me leave because they were mad about what Messenger was saying. Messenger has every right to say what he wants to say. I have every right to say what I want to say. If they get all butthurt about it and then leave, it's not my fault. Yeah. Make your own video. Say what you want to say. But don't tell me what I have to say. That's the same old bullshit filtered through the gynocentric that I've been getting my whole life. That I have to say what they want to say, so they'll be easy about it.
They want special treatment.
They want special treatment.
Special treatment.
Snowflakes.
They're sensitive. Yeah.
Well, before this turns into another Dear Abby, Shiny, can we go on to the next question?
Yes.
Well, it's just hate mail, I'm afraid. Okay, here we go. The next one.
No, hey, bring it on. Okay.
Next one, he goes, please leave Mgtow. Me and my friend, I don't know if I should read the list. List out this guy, spell out his names. We all know the list.
Yeah, we all know the list.
Yeah.
Okay, please leave Mgtow. Me and my friends want you to leave. That's all he said.
Oh,
Me and my friends want you to leave.
Me and my friends want you to leave because.
The funny thing is, they put a smiley face at the end.
Yeah, I noticed that thing with the double asterisk and then the quotation mark for a smiley face. That's so cute.
That's so cute. Yeah, you know, fuck off. But I'm saying it in a friendly way. Okay. Oh, this one's. Oh, it gets quite dark now. Here we go.
Oh, dark. Okay.
Here we go. Mgtow monks, go kill yourselves, you bunch of whiny ass girls, just hurting men all the time with your videos, mudslinging constantly.
Good. Ooh, I'm hurt. I'm so hurt. Oh, yeah. I better stop.
Well, yeah, wow. Go kill myself.
Yeah, go kill myself.
That's real Mgtow. We're trying to.
You see the hypocrisy.
Yeah, that's hypocrisy.
Yeah, I think there's a problem there because they're not taking into consideration Mgtow karma and reincarnation. So if we kill ourselves, we're going to be right back again next Sunday.
Yeah, but look, listen to what the guy says. Kill yourself, and then he gives us the reason. He says because you're always hurting men. But
because we're always hurting men.
You're telling us to kill ourselves. Obviously, you're hurting men. That's so ironic.
I know the truth hurts. The truth hurts, but it instructs.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
This guy. One last one.
Yeah.
This guy. We actually know this guy. You'll see him. You see his comments. I don't know if he's being sarcastic. He goes, this is clever. They're misogyn Nazis. See what he's done there.
Yeah. Misogyn Nazis. Ooh.
They're misogyn Nazis. Your shit makes me listen to soft piano, hug myself, and turn in a circle. I think he was being sarcastic. I like this guy.
I like this guy, yeah. Oh.
Turn in a circle. One guy just put time to grab the popcorn. That's all he says.
Time to grab the popcorn. That's what he said. Yeah.
For the drama. Yeah,
well, Betty Swallows has asked to come in, so I'm just going to send him a link here, guys. Get him into our room. Yeah.
Betty, I've already sent him a link.
Where'd you send it to? Did you send it to his...
To his YouTube channel.
Oh, to his... Okay.
I don't know. Let's have a look. Yeah, send it to him.
Okay, yeah.
I'll send it again.
What's the matter with you? To his to the one that he's used. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the mailbag. Took me quite some time to hack Messenger's inbox, so he won't mind. Okay, we go way back, Messenger. We go all the way back to February.
Yeah. Do you guys get hate mail on a regular basis? I don't know if I get hate mail. I get argumentative mail, and then I just tell them to hey, just argue somewhere else. This is not the place to argue with my all you survey around my channel is mine.
I'll tell you when I do get hate mail. It's when one of the big channels shares my videos. When I won't name any names. You all know who I'm talking about. when they share one of my videos and all their subscribers jump on my channel, and all of a sudden they found this channel, and that's when I get hate mail.
Yeah, but it's fun to deal with sometimes. You just see you see the hypocrisy in their statements. You see the slow rhetorical turns that they try to do, and what they're saying is they want to slow walk themselves back into the blue pill world. Who is the guy that Cypher? They want to pull a Cypher, walk back into the blue. That's fine, but don't do it around my area. I'm not going back. There's no reason for me to go back. I developed a lifestyle that works for me fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm telling the men about. The lifestyle where I work fine. I don't have all that stress. I don't have back pulls every day now from stress. I'm doing well, and I don't need to go back there. There's no reason for me to go back there to take on all that, so I can start paying for hamburgers. Every time I go out, I got to pay for 2 hamburgers instead of 1. No, I'll pay for my hamburger and eat mine.
Yeah.
Tastes fine.
Yeah, looking at the chat room here, Hot Eyes made a good comment. I wish more Mgtow would share building things like Vention, Insight, like Barbarossa, Spetsnaz, Stardust. Well, we've just talked about those guys, but you know, I like the Vention idea. You know, about Mgtow's building stuff, constructing technology. Get in on that dialogue.
Yeah, that go out to your what used to be your man cave is now your garage, and has become an extension of your house instead of a man cave. Go out to your go out to your place where you build things and be creative. If you want to make videos about that, I have a huge garage, and work takes place in there almost every day. That's where some inspiration comes from. I'm not Tesla, so I'm not going to invent the next great inspirational piece of electrical equipment that's going to change the world. I might someday just have an idea, but unless you're out there doing those creative things, you're never going to know the extent of your skills. Yeah, get out there. Even if you're fixing a lawnmower, a small lawnmower, or painting the side of a house, and you have a better way to do it, show us. Great,
well, we've got a quick message from Salute Chief.
What did Salucci say?
Okay, wait. You there, Salucci? You just wanted to say what to say something?
What's your motherfucking problem, man? How come you keep fucking with me now? Who's all the motherfucking jokes? What's your motherfucking problem? When I get the motherfucking jets, I will bust your ass. Fuck out, motherfucker. I'll moonwalk all up and down your ass. I hear some motion up. Love up your ass. I see you later.
Wow, that was quite a message from Salucci. Thank you, Salucci.
Thank you so much. Now, moonwalk your.
Yeah,
well,
that was.
Salucci, you're welcome back anytime. You wanna share your thoughts?
Yeah, whenever do you want to come back and share your thoughts with us? We're loving and caring men, and we care about you. And
yeah, you see, they attack us, but we never retaliate. We never, we're like water. They just pass right through us.
Here, let me give them a send off.
Nice one.
Oh, there we go.
A message from Salucci there. Salucci, our brother.
Yeah, our brother.
Our brother in the manosphere.
Oh, that was good. That was good. So what else happened in the Mgtow world this year, in this week? Not a lot. Still, Barbarossa hasn't made a video. Everybody looks forward to his inspiring.
Well, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for new channels to rise. There's always new channels popping up. I mean, today I found like 3 or 4 channels. Their videos weren't very good, but I'm sure they'll improve. I'm sure when they learn more, when they watch more, when they develop more, I'm sure that they'll be rising.
Yeah, they need some inspiration. When I came in and I started doing this, my videos were horrible. I was still trying to figure out how to use a video, a video editor, how to record my voice properly, how to do those things. They're awful videos. I've taken all of those down, and I still, from the end, whichever ones I feel that I don't like anymore, because I do have a right to change my mind on a lot of things, and you can see my growth during the years.
Well, just like how it was last year, when Paul Elam passed the torch, and Evan Clary and all those other guys, all those greats, all those Mgtow greats, when they passed away and they passed the torch on to the next guys, well, maybe it's another change of schedule. I think another new breed of Mgtow channels are going to arise. Obviously, I don't want to name any names because every time Mayor of Mgtown does a shout-out video, every single one of those people he shouts out end up being one crazy fucker. I'm not shouting out anyone.
Don't give any shout-outs. It's like the Madden curse. You give him the Madden curse.
But I am looking forward to Kick's Passions videos. He's a very small channel, but he's he seems to vanish now, and he seems to be scaling down instead of moving up. I hope he comes back though.
Yeah, these guys need a little support from the community, and if they get that kind of support that they need, they'll stick around. I mean, look at, just this year we had TFM come on aboard, and very successful, very smart. He had some great videos this week too.
Oh, he just did a great video. I mean, we were talking about China and Japan, during Christmas, and he just did a video about China. It's exactly what I said, exactly how I said it. I said the laws support the men in the divorce act. That's what I said. That's what I said. You guys didn't need to.
The Chinese see the logic of that supporting the men, and in an equal sort of way, it just works out better for the whole community and the men. Who drives the community? The men drive the community. Of course, you got to support the men. If you want the American economy to back off like it used to be, support the men.
Well, what's his name? Hot Ice. I remember Hot Ice. Remember you and as he said, you and Hot Ice had a bit of a tiff a while back. He completely.
We did.
Yeah. You've forgotten him already. But anyway, he says
I've forgotten him already. My goodness, Hot Ice. What happened? What did I do? What did I say, man?
You understood something. You misunderstood him. He said something. And you misunderstood him.
Oh, I think I remember. I forgot what it was, but I went off on my little thing and I misunderstood him. My apologies for my misunderstanding.
Well, no,
there,
absolutely right. He says we shouldn't engage with silly bitches like. Sorry,
Alexander Blue.
I apologize. Yeah, you shouldn't.
Why would you watch Alexander Blue when you can support a Mgtow?
I know. It's like these guys. They try to, they want to in their aim to get as many subscribers as possible. They don't want to lose out on Alexander Blue's subscriber base, so they try and appease him. Yeah. Where's Link Blue? He had some dealings with Alexander Blue. Where's that guy gone?
Oh
well. Alexandra Blue?
No, Link. Oh yeah, that's funny.
Link Blue, yeah.
Link Blue. I wonder if they're brothers and sisters.
Maybe.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, Link's in the States. Alexandra Blue is cushy and comfortable in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, why does a woman that does MRA stuff like that, sort of lighthearted MRA stuff like that, all of a sudden she's very popular? If you guys want me to dress up in a blonde wig and put some titty things in, I will for you guys if you want.
Oh, geez, you'll get instant, yeah. Geez, Joe, you declare yourself a tran? That's bound to get attention.
Yeah, I'll get to.
I'm still waiting, because actually, believe it or not, Warhorse came up with that idea, and he said he was going to do that, and then he had the idea of dressing up his dog in a dress and
get that neoteny going. Yeah, you guys can have something pleasurable. I don't think I'm that pleasurable to look at. You might want to puke a little if you see me in a dress. It's not a good sight.
A good video by TFM. I'm still a fan of TFM. He hasn't.
I'm a big fan. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the guy. I wish he'd come on once in a while and say hello.
Yeah, he's too busy now with his hobnobbing with the hoi polloi of YouTube, and he's way up there now. Is that guy? He's flown the cuckoo's nest, as they say.
He's the only Mgtow producer. He's got his sights on Sandman. He's going to be like taking over Sandman soon.
Taking over Sandman's position of being the PewDiePie of Mgtow.
Yeah. So who just left this week? Someone left. That was I Slay Pretty Lies.
Yeah, he just shut his channel down. Don't know why.
Did we have anything to do with that?
We'll probably get the blame for that. He's
he gave up. He never got the. He was a very good producer, but he never got the response that he thought he was going to get.
I don't know about that. He had his channel was bigger than mine, but he had a very successful season of anti-Sandman videos.
He's got the best anti-Sandman videos.
I managed to pinch a few of those before he took them down.
Did you get one?
I got one. Yeah. But I got the one that was at fault because he released one and it had some mistakes in there, and then he quickly took it down and he put and he did it and put it up.
Also, Teacher Unbound shut down his channel too as well, and I got a message from Messenger actually. Yeah, it was just getting too many trolls and just getting tired of having to deal with them. So I don't blame him. And trolls are a pain in the ass sometimes if you've got your own agenda going on.
He said he was going to do that. He brought up the other channel where it's going to be more of a Catholic Catholic Mgtow channel where the
Well,
Catholics
good
go.
on him, good on him. I mean,
Good on him,
Mgtow,
definitely, by all means.
Oh no, Mgtow from every angle, I say.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and it's fine to have if you ever.
I think him and Sling of David have something going there, and
Really?
I hope they do well. For any of the Christian Catholic Mgtows, by all means, go and seek those guys out. They'll definitely have something for you.
Sling of David. Well, I think Joe. I think you were saying Sling of David might be related to Todd.
Yeah, I thought that was Todd's son.
No. Sling of David and Todd. Are you referring to Todd Reinhardt?
Todd
Yeah.
Reinhardt, yes.
No, they're on opposite ends. Todd Reinhardt is a confirmed atheist, and obviously there's a conflict there between those two. Teacher Unbound and Sling of David.
Is that one hangout we had? He said his son was going to come in, and then the next person that showed up was Sling of David.
Oh, is that why?
And then,
is that what happened? I don't recall.
Yeah, so I don't know who his Todd's son is. Todd's son is still at Mgtow somewhere around here.
Well, obviously, Sling of David, not to be confused with King David. There's another account called King David.
King David?
Yeah. You guys remember King David? He did a couple of videos, took them straight down, and just carried on doing the comments.
Okay, yeah, you sent me some disturbing stuff on Apotheosis Divine this morning.
Oh, yes, Apotheosis Divine, obviously, Lisa Emerald's brother.
Lisa Emerald's brother, and
Lisa Emerald's brother, Apotheosis Divine.
Apotheosis is her brother.
Is her brother, and he's got his cock out in his next season of videos again.
And he's making masturbation videos.
I can't believe how he gets away with it. Good on him,
Really?
I'm shocked anyway. He's well. I'm not going to comment anymore about it.
Let's move on.
Lincoln Lowbar. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Yeah. Okay. Socks over your genitals. Okay. Let's move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can do the movie news.
The movie news, yeah.
What's the
movie news? Okay, let's go to movie news, yeah.
Interesting film came out on DVD, obviously. I only know the DVD releases. It's called The Lobster. Now, it's set in the future where it's illegal to be single. Yeah, and what they do, at a certain age, you get sent to an institute. If you're single, at a certain age, you get sent to an institution where if you don't find a partner, they mutate you into an animal to live your rest of your life in the forest. I'm not making this up, guys. Check it out. It's The Lobster, a British film.
It's The Lobster.
Yeah,
isn't that a lot what they do now?
Interesting though, because quite often movies reflect our culture. Movies reflect, and quite often they even. It happens the way that it is. I mean, we all look at the New World Order type of video, like V for Vendetta and Children of Men. Very good post-apocalyptic. Not post-apocalyptic, but close apocalyptic videos. Where they talk about how a totalitarian government, and our government have tightened up a lot of our. Taken away a lot of our freedom, tightened up a lot of the laws, and I mean that it did go that way. Have you guys seen those films?
Which ones?
I've seen those two films.
V for Vendetta, Children of Men.
I saw V for Vendetta years ago, but I never got into that conspiracy thing myself, so I'm not good to talk on it.
The Children of Men is sort of like the mouse experiment with when the females they stop reproducing, and then the MRAs go all homosexual and they'll hump on everything, and then because that's what we're seeing now.
I'll tell you what futuristic film I did enjoy, and because obviously whenever you think about futuristic films, like for example Back to the Future. When Back to the Future they went forward. Oh, okay. I'm just going to mute you there, Zia. You just dancing around there. Oh, you finished? Okay. But Back to the Future, they go forward into the year 2015, and obviously it's 2015 now, and it's nothing like what they said it was going to be. But one interesting one was, I think it's called The Sleeper, by Woody Allen. You guys remember that?
I remember Sleeper, yes.
Yeah.
Where smoking is one of the healthiest things you can do in the 23rd century. I remember that very well. Yeah.
And they had these big bananas. And
Yeah, the big banana transport vehicles, you know, you come out of a pod. Oh, man, that was screwed up.
The robot slaves.
Yeah. That was like made in 1972 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Early 70s. And
Well, smoking is one of the healthiest things you can do in the 23rd century, don't you know?
Yeah, Woody Allen had a bunch of really weird. Everything you ever wanted to know about sex, he made about that time. That was one of the first movies I've ever seen. Everything, and they had the sex machines, and you put it on your head, and then with a partner.
Your Orgasmatron.
Yeah, the Orgasmatron. And he had the only gas-burning car left in the world in his garage.
Yeah, that's right. And everything was all futuristic. Yeah, well, whatever they could conceive back in 1972 or whatever.
Is that the one where he gets chased down the hill by a giant tit that squirts?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It was a fucked up movie, man.
Woody Allen had some bizarre movies. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and this is all before he got nailed for being a pedophile. But anyways, that's a different story on a different day. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
I've just watched the film Hateful Eight. Quentin Tarantino's. Is that
his latest effort?
His latest effort, yeah. We're set in the Western. Who cares about spoilers? Kurt Russell, one of my favorite actors, getting on a bit now, but still a great actor. And obviously, you can't have a Quentin Tarantino's film without Samuel L. Jackson. He's in there.
Of course.
Okay.
He's in there. Obviously, he's had to write him in because obviously back then black men were not allowed to do very much in those days. So he's written him in especially. But it's a good film. Jennifer Jason Leigh in there as well. All top actors there, and obviously everyone gets killed, as is the custom of a Tarantino film. But yeah, great film. Recommend that. But let's go on to the movie bloopers now. Independence Day 2 on its way.
Oh, Independence Day 2. They're gonna try to screw that up. How are they gonna? Yeah, how are they gonna do that?
I don't know, but it looks absolutely silly. Well, I mean, what's going on over there in the US? I mean, do you guys, you celebrate Independence Day, but is it a thing over there? Is it like, is that the day when hating the British is a thing? Yeah. That's good.
You know what? Independence Day serves as a warning to our government about because at that time the warning to the government was we need our independence or we're gonna pull out the guns. So every time when we get out, it serves for a metaphysical warning. You start blowing off firecrackers and you have your celebration. The firecrackers represent bullets and guns, and that's what we're telling our government that the same thing you make a firecracker out of is the same thing that makes a bullet, and don't push it that far where we have to use that again, because we have the Second Amendment here. We have the right to bear arms against our government, and if our government ever and they're pushing that up to that point. So
it is, yeah. I mean, it seems every other day I'm hearing about some guy getting killed by the police, some guy, unarmed guy.
I mean, so Independence Day means more than for Americans than a lot of the people around the world see. It's just a warning. It's a warning to our government to cut their fucking shit, or else we're gonna, instead of putting those in firecrackers and having a jolly celebration with chicken wings and ribs and beer, we're gonna put those back into bullets and send them their way.
Well, very much as Guy Fawkes Night is to the UK as well. I mean, I think the civilians, the citizens of the West, are very, very disillusioned. I mean,
yeah, a lot of you've seen the things with the Bundy Ranch this year with the overtaxation. The police are going nuts. They're killing everybody. The worst thing in the world you can do, like in Britain, I know it's the same, is call a police officer to settle your problems, because everybody's going to go to jail, and then they're going to they're going to steal your money out of your wallet. Why call a police officer that's nothing more than a mafia thug that's going to steal your money?
A complete idiot turns up. You dial 911 two complete idiots or one, depending, complete idiots turn up wearing guns, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
No, nothing happy.
Nothing good's going to happen. Yeah. You might as well leave them out of your business. And vigilante justice rules then.
Well, it's better justice than what the police are dealing out. I mean,
yeah, at least it's fair, and no one's picking your pocket for they come to your house and all of a sudden you get fines, and they want to ticket everybody, and everybody's gonna go to jail, and then you got to go through court things, and they want to get in your life. There's just more bed bugs. They just want to include you in the system. They want to get as many young boys in the system as they can, so they can regulate their lives and make them into the happy little producing utilities, and and take their cut off of that, so they can run a system that really doesn't work to begin with.
Well, and it's also a profiting system. There seems to be profit in America to jail men. Yes. Okay, it's a business.
Yeah,
it's becoming a business. So this is what I'm gathering, Joe, and correct me if I'm wrong. It's like, let's take a cycle of 20 years. If a man or a boy enters into criminality, he's going to be put in that system, and he will stay on that system and go through the whole revolving door, because they're going to be on him all the time. But the question is to what extent do they want to keep a guy like that jailed for stupid bullshit, right?
Yeah,
in order to, well, that's self-interest, but it's also a business, like we're saying.
It's the recidivism of poverty. It's the same thing. Health and Human Services need 17% poverty to run their system. If it falls below to 8, 9, 6, 7, 5% poverty, guess who's out of a job?
Oh, they're going to be, of course. So that's why they have to pump out, men are evil and men are, and everything else, because it's cha-ching. It's back in their pocket,
It's the same thing with the legal system. If they don't produce a certain amount of criminals, and they don't lower the bar on becoming a criminal, and matter of fact, you can get a felony now for almost anything, and then you get into that system, and they start picking your pocket in that system. I see it all the time with men around here. The worst thing you can do is bring that system into your life by calling the police.
Big mistake, guys.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, shall we move on to the last
By
movie?
all means.
Yeah.
And what's happened to the other guys? Betty hasn't joined us yet. Are these guys getting the links out, or?
I don't know. He's waiting for his scripts. He doesn't feel confident in tackling the three of us by himself. Yeah. But it's funny though, because some people, they're not very good. I'm not talking about Betty here, by the way, but some guys, some of the channels that make these videos, it's like they're really good when their videos are scripted, but as soon as they go out live, they're lacking.
They're just not sharp enough to,
I don't want to name any names, but you all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's my catchphrase from now on.
Okay. So what is the next
X-Men Apocalypse.
Ooh, are they going to bring in the what's his name?
The big blue guy with a helmet and the jaw.
Yeah, what was his name? Oh God. Yeah, that's the way they ended it in the cartoon series. They brought in Apocalypse. I know there's an Apocalypse, and then I know there's he's like, he lives on a different planet, and he's like sits there on his throne.
Oh, he looks very. The comic, of course, looks fantastic. The game looks fantastic as well. The comic looks fantastic. I've not read the comic. I played the game, but the concept of this big, huge, very power. I don't know if he's a mutant or not. I don't know the comic, by the way, but the concept of X-Men is pretty interesting in that. Obviously, if you're an atheist, you believe that we evolved from single-celled amoebas into simple animals, into the monkey, onto the thing, and obviously you believe that at one point we're going to evolve into these X-Men, which is the premise of X-Men, because these are people that have now evolved to have superpowers. So
yeah. I have the superpower of Mgtow.
But if you watch Stardust is saying that we're de-evolving, so we're going to go back to being monkeys, which is quite funny. No, he actually.
I was going to suggest if there's any guy out there who's good with cartoons, if he can draw a group of monkeys wearing monk's robes, just for the spoof, by all means, please, you've been summoned.
Yeah.
We're with the evolving. Sorry, guys, it just gets me. But I do like X-Men. I'm a big fan of X-Men, even if it's just conditioning, because obviously, if a man he takes care of himself, he eats right, and he works out, he can get himself, conditioned to be strong. That doesn't mean he's evolved into, like, for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't a skinny man and then evolved into a big guy. He conditioned himself. So I like the concept of X-Men in that if people can live in certain conditions, that they will change. But it's interesting anyway. But anyway, this X-Men Apocalypse, he looks absolutely ridiculous. This big, huge a person which is about the size of a 20-story block of flats. He comes along and he dominates. He's got X-Men powers as well. So yeah, that's coming out, and I've got a feeling that's going to be as shit as X-Men 3, which is a complete. Oh, news from Warhorse. Warhorse says The Lobster is a complete shit of a film. So he's warning us not to watch The Lobster there. Thanks for that, Warhorse.
Thank you, Warhorse.
Yeah.
Do not see The Lobster.
Don't watch The Lobster. That's from your Mgtow advisor, Warhorse, the biker.
Yeah. Our Siskel and Ebert.
So that will be apocalypse. It says here, since the dawning of civilization, he's been worshipped as a god. Apocalypse.
Wow.
The most powerful mutant.
Wow.
Amasses power from. Oh, he amasses power from all the other mutants and becomes immortal and invincible.
Wow. Well, I'm sold.
I'm sold.
Immortal and invincible. Ah, let's be 7 years old again.
Yeah, Immortal's going to be in there.
Immortal.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey, yeah. In anime form.
In anime form.
Yeah.
Well, it's about time.
Well.
All right. Okay. So that's the movie news. That's me done for today. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we got to get sound effects for that. It's going to be turning into another Howard Stern.
I don't like Howard Stern, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in years. I mean, it's Howard Stern.
Used to love it, but I just don't do that morning drive anymore.
So what's next up?
Yeah, we're just waiting for Betty Wallach to come in.
Yeah, Betty's not in. James is in the chat room. I don't know if he wants to join us this morning.
Yeah, James wanted a link, but let me see if I can add. That's James. What's his name? What's his avatar name? Just James?
James Denton.
Oh, James Denton. Does he want to?
Yeah, James Denton. Yeah.
Oh, James Denton, the Russian.
Okay, yeah, he's a very, very brilliant.
Well,
man.
James Denton is a very Russian name.
Okay, and we have the other James too. There's two James.
Oh, sorry, guys, that was an accident.
What was that?
All right. We're doing sound effects today because Eric.
Yeah, thank you, Eric.
Guys,
blame Eric.
Blame Eric. He wanted more sound effects, and
he insisted. He gave us threats. He says, if you don't have sound effects, then watch out. That's what he said.
Okay.
Just watch yourselves, guys.
Yeah, I did watch a few other podcasts this week. The Turkman was Turkman and Crossing Ways, and
Turkish Delight, yeah.
Yeah, they had a girl in the room, and I can't remember her name.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Magnus holiday special.
Oh.
Yeah. Rachel, I think it was Rachel that was in that. Yeah, that's right. I only watched about like 20 minutes of that, and then I had my fill.
Yeah, it automatically. They were going to talk about isolation and male isolation, and then as soon as Rachel came in the room, the topic turned to Rachel.
Oh, it got interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
Things started to heat up at that point.
They were no longer isolated, so that was the end of the discussion on that one. Yeah. Just bring Rachel in, and you're no longer isolated. Does that sound all too familiar, gentlemen? Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Rachel solved that problem.
Nature solved that problem. Nature and Rachel.
Yeah,
that problem was solved.
I get out there and I watch this stuff, and I watch most Mgtow producers and support them. I let it run through for a while, gave them their fair due time. And so I don't block everybody, and I try to go out and listen to everything and everybody has to say and take in what's good, and
as you do,
leave what's bad. And I don't leave. You can go back to that video and you see I didn't leave no bad comments, but it seems like, if we get bad comments just slung at us, we don't do those things. We don't go to the. I watched their videos. I clicked on the ad, gave them their ad. I click on their ads, give them their little hit on the ad, go see, whatever their, shirt or something that Amazon is selling, whatever they need, and I support the guys. And, if we can get that same kind of support around here, it would be beautiful, but we don't seem to get that same kind of support.
Yeah, I mean, she noticed, Sammy, when you're going to come on and have it out with us.
Yeah, have it out with us. But this is the throwdown, It's not for it's not for lighthearted people that get all hurt about things. Let's
not for jokers that joke around.
Yeah.
Unless we're joking around the way we are right now, because this is a good break from all the serious topics that we've covered over the year. My goodness, I think this is the first time we're lightening up.
Yeah, we've been lightening up a lot. Humor is the way. All the stress of doing this and all the every day you come home, you look at your comments. You got to figure out what exactly people are saying, whether they're being hostile, whether they're being indifferent, whether they're being rhetorical, and try to figure out the best answer to give them for whatever question. And sometimes it's not really a question, it's just an implication that you're gay or something. And them are easy, I'm not gay, so that doesn't concern me.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. So, you got to figure these things out. You can make your video. I usually make a couple of them. Sometimes I save a few, so when I have time to do it, like this morning I had a video that was, so I save videos and I make them and just drop them in. It takes me 15 minutes and, it's a lot of work, and I don't get paid for this work. And, feminists get paid for their work. Yeah, feminists get paid for their work.
And large too, I'm sure.
Yeah, they get large bills to, to do this. When that was my complaint with the Reggie Yates thing. He comes around here and talk about trying to steal the utility like a bitch. He comes around here, asks the guy to come on. He asked the major producers to come on for free, and no, you do
what
the
a cheek.
Yeah, that's not capitalism. That's what is
communism? That's communism.
That's communism, and that's saying a lot about what he was predisposed to think of the males as just your utility, and he didn't even offer the pay one and go to
a skinflint, eh?
Yeah.
What a miser! What a Scrooge!
What a Scrooge!
At this time of the year as well.
Yeah, and when they do go get a few Mgtow producers, they just create them and then pay themselves. That is a bitch move there. Reggie Yates, you are a bitch. Yeah.
I did enjoy Diana Davidson's video on Reggie Yates. It's very good.
Yeah, she brings up how he's just hypocritical, and he's weaving his narrative, and that's Blue Pill America there, or Blue Pill world there. It's Britain actually. Blue Pill Britain. That's all they want to do is BBC was accused of that, making up their own news. So they run a story and then they all talk about the story that they ran. So they present. Yeah, they present the narrative and then talk about the narrative like they didn't present it. No, that's garbage. That's yellow journalism. And to come here and treat men like he did and ask men to do that stuff for free is a real bitch move. It's
they had an agenda,
journalism.
They were just looking for material that they could manipulate into their agenda. Just quickly, Mgtow Starving Artist. He's asking about forums there. But Mgtow.com, obviously, we've already got a 4 of them. In fact, we need to bring Mgtow.com back on.
I really enjoyed some of his stuff there.
Yeah, what's he up to these days?
What is he up to?
That's right, yeah. So if you're listening in, Mgtow.com, by all means, drop by the throwdown.
Yeah. He was a very interesting guy. I can't remember his name. He said his name on there, and I just forgot it. I have to go back. It's probably in your archives, huh, Jenny?
Yeah, he was one of the first guys that jumped into my podcast. So we had, I think we was on there for 3 hours. It was funny because before he said to me, he goes, "Oh, what we're going to talk about? We don't have anything to talk about. We just kept talked and talked for that." I think it was one of my longest podcasts, but yeah, the Mgtow.com, and one of the first guys, what's his name, Mgtow In-Betweener, was on there. Check it out, guys, have a look.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember.
Mgtow In-Betweener, yeah, I think I've run into a couple of his videos before, not bad.
Yeah, I think Nico and who else, TFM and Dark Knight were all in and out on that podcast, and there's a lot of guys, yeah.
I kind of remember, it was so long ago.
Already, eh?
It's in February, actually. I think it's February.
February. That's like last year.
Yeah, that's like 10 years in cyber language, you know.
In Mgtow years, yeah. In Mgtow years, that's 10, 100 years.
Yeah.
So a lot happens in Mgtow in that short distance. People come.
Yeah, 6 months in Mgtow is the equivalent of what happens in 1 month in real time. That's real time for Mgtow. What happens in 6 months happens in 1 month.
Yeah.
Is that a good way of gauging it? I don't know. You guys in the chat room figure something out there. What's the formula for how fast things happens in Mgtow?
What's Einstein's formula for the Mgtow to real time ratio there?
Oh, that would be an interesting exercise, actually.
Yeah. Who's the mathematician?
Oh, James Denton said it. That would be M equals L equals M.
Mucus lubricated meat hole.
Hey man, that's not funny. That's like your opinion, man.
That's my opinion. Oh, did I offend the girls?
The girls are offended. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not going to start a safe space for the girls here. What do you call it?
Yeah. Well, that's one of our. That's what our critics say about. That's one of the main criticisms our critics say about was that we don't have enough women on here apparently.
Geez, yeah, that's right. Any women monks out there? Any Wigtows out there?
Any Wigtows? What's her name?
We won't hold the throwdown here on this in this time slot, but if there are some hardcore Wigtows out there, that would be interesting. I think I might bend the rules a bit and go and interview them. But they have to be hardcore. They have to be living on steam and crackers, and I want to see their list of austerities and how they're going to reach personal enlightenment and take full accountability. Hey,
it'll be interesting.
I'm game.
Yeah, isn't Ross K a Wigtow?
Ross K?
Yeah, I like Ross K.
VK Clark is Wigtow.
VK Clark's Wigtow. She's
Wigtow?
Oh okay. Yeah, she's asexual too. She says so. She's the monk of Wigtow.
She's the monk of Wigtow. She's like our messenger rising. She's like.
But she's always telling us to ditch the bitch and make the switch. So I don't know where he, she, they, it is coming from. I'd like to.
Maybe we can all start just dating Wigtow girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really. Yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody actually read her book? Did you read any of that?
VK Clark's?
Yeah, she has like 3 books out. No. Yeah,
no.
they're hardcore. Yeah, she has hardcore books on not German history.
Yeah,
she's got a great collection of dolls that she had every time she did her little podcast thing there. She had them. What's the Hellboy dolls? She collected Hellboy dolls. I want
Hellboy.
Yeah. I want some Hellboy dolls. Them are expensive. I went and looked at them, and they're like $116.
On eBay?
Yeah, on eBay and Amazon.
Just go to China. Just get the made in China ones. I'm sure there'll be some Chinese company that will pirate.
Oh, in Hong Kong, I'm sure they'll pirate it and just pop over.
There we go.
Made in Hong Kong, man.
Exactly the same quality. Just a tenth of the price.
A tenth of the price. I wish I should start.
Parts are made in Shanghai. There you go.
Yeah.
Because that's what I really wanted to talk to her about is her Hellboy collection, but she kept bringing it back to how MGTOWs are idiots or something.
That's the pity. That's the pity. I mean, there's so many avenues we could explore with these wig towels, but it always gets sidetracked to serious issues. Always gets. Always.
Yeah, why aren't we doing what they say?
Why?
Well, yeah, exactly. That would be interesting, though. If we could have like maybe in 10 years' time, once everything is evolved and we're full-fledged monks and all that, and then of course they start because it's going to take a while, maybe 20 years for them to catch up to our 10 years.
Yeah, I like to see them progress. I like to see them progress into more of a MGTOW stance and start really getting it. And that's my thing with feminism. I don't argue with feminism. I want to see feminism succeed, and I want to see them really start getting what they're saying and really start taking the responsibility and accountability that they say. I want them to be happy and healthy, and I want them to get it. I want them to go their own way, do their own thing, get their own jobs, start supporting themselves, and be like men. I want them to get that. I don't want to argue with feminism. There's no reason to argue with feminism. I want them to succeed totally, and then they can have everything they want. They can be the utility instead of me.
Well, feminism's success will also be MGTOW's success indirectly. Let's face it. They're going to create their Mgtow makers, right? And so the more they do that, I mean, that's the angle I'm looking at from it. And I'm trying to be realistic here.
Yeah, I don't want them to, I don't have no hate for them or vitriol for them. I want them to succeed 100% in what they're doing. But that 100% success means that they have to have accountability. They have to get their job, start acting like individuals, like men would in society. Then they become a utility for us to use, like we are a utility for them to use.
My goodness, Joey! Now you're really talking about hardcore equality here that they talk about. That would be hardcore. It doesn't get more equal than that. So equality really is a practice on an individual basis, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. We have the system we cannot change. The only way we can change the system is stop being gold diggers, and that's all we're saying. Is stop being gold diggers and bring, If there was a girl that walked through this door, you better bring something to the table, and that's a sandwich. I always use the sandwich reference. Bring something to the table. Have something, and that makes for an equal relationship. But right now, you can't find that.
If ever.
Yeah.
If ever. Okay. I mean, I might look at women who renounce and take off for about 15 years into a cave in the Himalayas. I might start listening to them, but
I don't think they can do that. They can't do that.
A Western woman, they'll do that. Yeah.
Hey, I want to see them evolve. There's this presupposition in the MRA that women are just the way they are, and we have to deal with it. No, they just need a little gentle guidance to become more MGTOW, and then
well, Wigtow.
Wigtow, yeah, they can be Wigtow, and I support Wigtow. I want Wigtow to work. I want them to be happy and healthy. And I want them to.
Should we support VK Clark?
Yeah, I think we should support VK Clark. They went after her in a manner. The MRAs went after her in a manner that was a little bit despicable. And all I wanted to do was talk about those fucking dolls.
Those Hellboy dolls.
Them Hellboy dolls. I want to read her book. I want to see what she has to present. Yeah, see what she has to present. And if she's truly MGTOW, I don't have to worry about. If she's truly Wigtow, I don't have to worry about her stealing my wallet. I don't have to worry about her, doing all those things a normal blue pill type woman would do. Yeah, so I promote that 100%.
What are we really talking about here, Joe? We're talking about raising the bar. The fact that we exist, we have raised the bar for women out there.
Yeah, instead of lowering the bar for them, that's
it's been raised. The sheer fact here, and this is a good discussion right there. Is the sheer fact is that we have indirectly raised the bar.
Yeah,
for women.
Want to raise the bar for them. I want them to it's just in the government and in the way feminism is going right now, they continuously want to give them that disabled status. That is so insulting to women, and that is so insulting to me that they would want to get every woman a disabled status and make them into a disabled person.
But you see, this is the fact. This is what the Mgtows have to fight against. That's their battle. It's not ours.
That's their battle to fight.
It's their battle. But the point being is are we seeing this happen? I think maybe Feminism LOL, Diane Davison's probably touching on that and getting to that point. But is there a collective forming of Mgtows, so to speak, that are out there? You know,
there's no collective form of Mgtow that's going to say, no, we're not going to accept that disabled status. We're better than that. We want to be.
I mean, does Mgtow have the equivalent of their version of Barbarossa, their equivalent of Stardust? You know, I mean, I only see Diana Davison here. Karen Stronzoff doing whatever she's doing, and but there's no real concrete, nothing concrete.
No real concrete, Mgtow personality. Now, VK Clark could have filled that hole.
She could have filled that hole,
She could possibly be the equivalent of the Barbarossa of Mgtow, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So now all we need is a Stardust equivalent. Would that be Diana Davison? Ladies, if you're listening into this, and if you want to become a Mgtow, we're giving you out crucial information here. Start your own, start some content producers and identify as a woman going their own way. Mgtow, go for it.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah.
Yeah, be a best Mgtows they can. Take go to a Barbarossa video, apply it to how women would act in this situation. Don't switch the words. Do the switch in your head, and everything's out there laid out for you. You can't go to a Barbarossa video or a Traversable Mgtow video and do the I hate women thing. No, you gotta. You got to because we don't hate women. We're just and take those ideas and apply them to being a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all human. All of us are human. What applies to women applies to men. What applies to men applies to women. We're all the same kind of humans.
The real equality of things and equality of outcomes. Real equality of outcome. Yeah.
Yeah. When we say that, even the equality of outcome sort of theory, apply that to being a woman, and you don't want equal outcomes. You want equality in a general sense. We know there's going to be winners or losers in a tournament, in the tournament systems that we have. Accept that and be the winner. Don't rely on the disability of equal outcomes. Of equal outcomes just because every kid gets to play, In baseball, some kids are better, and in girls' baseball, some girls are better at baseball than other girls. By saying that you can't be on the starting 9, but you can achieve and you can grow to become better and be on the starting 9 players. That's what we're saying. You don't deserve to play first base because you just showed up, all kids don't get to play. We want better people, and that's what we're saying to Mgtow too. We want better Mgtows. We just don't want we don't want disabled Mgtows.
No retarded Mgtows, please.
No retarded Mgtows. Are there any retarded Mgtows? Well, that's Lacey Green.
Are there any sexual deviant?
Yeah, sexual deviant women out there. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, exactly.
BSDM.
BDSM Mgtows. Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see them have arguments and have their own version of Hangout Gate.
Yeah, there was a great character in what was that? Las Vegas crime scene with Grissom and his girlfriend. Well, that was Sarah, but the girl before that, the one that he was super interested in, was the girl with all the whips and the chains. And she was kind of a Mgtow personality. She had her shit going down straight, and she had a business going and everything. But she was a BSDM. That's what SMD, I think that was, where the people would pay her to be the dominatrix. And that's a whole interest of the subservient and thing.
It'd be interesting how many women are listening in on this. Probably from Ireland there, Joe, when you did your stats reading. They're probably listening in on this right now. So, Irish women, if you're, please start your own little Mgtow movement.
That's
I know that was a bad Irish accent.
It was pretty good. Don't be too harsh on yourself.
Well, I'm just trying over there, lad. Just as close as I can get,
Yeah, 89% of my female viewers, and I top out sometimes at 10% females. that identify as females, and 89% of those are from Ireland.
From Ireland, go figure. What is it about Irish women?
I don't
You know,
know.
I think I put that in the comment thread when you did that video, Joe, a couple months back.
Yeah.
You know, I had an English guy chime in, and he says, "Well, you know, Irish women, they're going to fight for their man, you know, and you know, they're just into that traditional mindset." Anyways, lots to explore there, but anyways,
I don't think I've ever met an Irish woman.
You never met an Irish woman?
No,
I've met Irish women, but filtered through the Canadian system, and you know, in Newfoundland is probably as close as you can get. You know, just the dialect and the spoken part is as close to Irish as you can get. The Newfie accent here in Canada.
You want me to introduce you to my sister?
Your sister Irish?
Heck yeah.
But does it count when they've been away from Ireland for?
No, she's Americanized.
American Irish. Okay, a Mick.
She's American.
I've met many a Scottish woman. A Scottish, I'll headbutt your Scottish woman.
Oh, is she tough?
Yeah, they.
She'll drink you under the table, that's for sure.
They're not like, well, going on to racial stereotypes here, they're not like the English women at all. They're very different.
Mm-hmm. Scottish girls? Well, I'm sure they are.
I always get the impression that they hate me, but apparently that's just how they are. They give that impression there apparently. So
they hate everybody equally.
They you know, they give that. Well, I don't know. That's as far as I can go, I think.
Yeah, there's just a perception of a meanness there, huh?
I don't know. But yeah. So all Scottish people there, Irish people, were appealing to you. Come help us break these racial stereotypes and make yourself.
Form your own women's group. Yeah, form your own women's going their own way thing. By all means, I'm really interested in that. You know, from a principled point of view, I see if they're able to pull that off. I'd like to see like I said, I want to see a hangout gate. You know, the BDSMs.
What's going on with the British side of the Mgtow thing? I mean. Canada's got Diana. She's Canadian, and then you've got like Karen Straw, and you've got like that other one as well. You've got quite a few anti-feminist, pro-Mgtow, pro-MRA women there, but you don't seem to hear many from the British. So maybe that's just.
I think Canada can pull off a Mgtow scenario. You know, this is what's interesting. It's such a highly feminized country, right? But on the other spectrum, there are women from the anti-feminism camp. I can see certain Canadian women going against that, and I think we're seeing that with the Diane Davidsons and the Karen Strawns and all that. There seems to be something there. Yeah. But, you know, maybe down the road in the new year, that could be, you know, grounds for a discussion with, if they're listening into this right now, you know, the progression furthering the Mgtow movement.
Is the honey badgers a type of Mgtow?
I'm not sure.
I think they're still in that traditional mindset.
Yeah. And too much girly talk going on there. Like within 20 minutes, I can shut off. It's only when, let's say, Hannah Wallen or Karen start getting into some topics. That's when it gets interesting, you know. But you know, and then in between they start girlying off, you know, boring.
Yeah. Says Karen has a boyfriend. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that.
I thought she was well, obviously she can go both ways, but you know, I don't think she's a Mgtow. She is a traditionalist, right? Yeah, they want to go back to the farm. Do you get that impression from Diana? Diana doesn't want to go back to the farm.
No, well, she advertises that what we got to get away from is a traditionalist world. You know.
Yeah.
Looks like Betty Swallocks has joined us here. Betty, welcome.
Hello, Betty.
Hi, fellas.
How you doing?
Are you enjoying
thanks.
Good.
Yeah, it took me a while to find the inbox on the Google Plus.
I don't know. He's been around that long. He doesn't know the inbox.
Hey, don't you bloody start, Yorkshire man.
I will start you, Yorkshire man. Where's your cap? Where's your cap and pipe and your slippers and your Yorkshire?
And you're both flooded out, both of you.
Yeah, you both underwater there today.
Yesterday was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So, so what's been happening in Betty World? Have you come across any Mgtow news over in your searches, in your journeys, in your travels, your Mgtow travels?
It depends what you mean by news.
Yeah, where do we
I
start?
do tend to find that there's a lot more single men around, if that's what we call news or developments. There does seem to be quite a sea change. A lot more men seem to be stepping back and not even heard of Mgtow. So I don't know whether it's just that the gynocracy has become so toxic now. Men have just decided they've had enough gradually.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's going to be a natural process regardless of whether they think they're a Mgtow. We're just labeling ourselves and saying what they are afraid to say. But sooner or later, the guys are going to catch on. They're not going to know they're a Mgtow. They'll just be able to relate as having a thought process that is Mgtow.
Well, that's also what I've been arguing too, Joe, is the number of men out there. You know, the sleeping giant that's out there. We're only, what, you said, Joe, about 100,000 strong, active on YouTube?
Yeah.
So, you know, I say feminism, please do your worst and start doing those things and implementing those things, because it's a Mgtow maker.
Yeah.
It's bringing more men on board here.
Yeah, I support
feminism. I mean, that's an interesting point, because from time to time I comment that perhaps men need more feminism, and it can be taken the wrong way.
That's right, yeah.
Some people think I'm actually promoting feminism, but what I'm saying is, the more it succeeds, the quicker men wake up.
That's right. Exactly.
There's two pluses as I see that plus, and I see eventually they will have to start practicing what they preach too. And if they start practicing what they preach, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have that responsibility, the accountability. They're going to have to be strong, independent girls, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. I want them to be successful in that manner, but it's just the batshit crazy feminists that want to go back to being the disabled girls that get everything for free. Them are the ones that they got to be. The feminist movement has to start calling them out and say, no, that's not logical. It's not good for our society. It's not good for men, and it's not good for women. It's not good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some pluses, and I'm not one of those guys that are going to sit and, as soon as I see a feminist, I don't have a vitriol. I don't have a reaction anymore to them.
How do you recognize a feminist? I mean, what are the signs?
Well, they're curvy and they look like girls.
And blue hair.
They look like heifers. The fatter they are, the more likely they're feminists.
I mean, that's a good point, because, in all honesty, everyone's a feminist. Whether they call themselves a feminist or not, because as we're now discovering with these videos by anti-feminist women,
they're all.
It all depends on. Yeah, it all depends on what best suits their circumstance. One minute they can be a feminist, next they can be some damsel in distress. Who's that comedian? Is it Bill Burr, who I think it was, who said you'll never find a feminist on a sinking ship or a burning house.
Yeah,
and that's that sort of sums it up,
Right. Yeah, they gotta jump up, be that them people they say they want to be, and then they'll get the respect that they deserve if they do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if, like you said, if they're going to be on those boats, women and children first, and not wanting to be in the military and not wanting to do the things that they say they can do, then it's a failure. It's a total failure.
Yeah, Logical Lone Wolf's got a good comment here. I don't think it would go that way. If feminism had ultimate power, they'd just keep passing more and more laws to fuck up our lives, like mandatory marriage or working for next to nothing and shit. Well, that's the Mgtow maker right there, as I see it. Go ahead, Barrett.
There's also the point of view that feminists were just useful idiots of the government.
Yeah.
You know, so those in power know what the score is, and the last thing they want are awakened men.
Yeah, of course.
The ultimate response by a man is Mgtow. The rational response is Mgtow. Just walk away, and all this stuff doesn't affect you. The farther you walk away, and you put that stuff aside, you become the Mgtow monk. They can't affect you, and it becomes irrelevant what they do. And that's what I'm saying. What they do is irrelevant to me in my lifestyle, in my life. So, you know, why do I care? Why do I don't watch feminist pooning videos?
What I think it is, though, Joe, it's not so much as we care. I think it's more to do with the fact that we continue to analyse it and continue to keep on regurgitating or repeating, because what we often forget is that more and more men are awakening. So you're going to get more and more men coming online for the first time.
Yeah.
So we're continuing having to repeat this, and it goes back to this idea that somehow we're going to have, you know, a set amount of men all gaining a certain level of knowledge, and then we're all going to go off and form a community. It's not going to happen. It's just going to be like a gradual, like a snowball rolling down a hill.
Yeah, we're gonna reform our community is what we're gonna do. What we already have. There's no new community that's out there. It's this community, and we have to reform it. We have to get people thinking differently. We have to get you know, I don't think we're ever going to get our legislators thinking differently, but that will come in the form of social pressure once the community starts asking for different things. Once the community says this is not acceptable because the things we say become clear to these people. They'll say the entire community will go, oh, that's seeing things through a red pill lens. They'll say no. Then these programs of slavery are no longer acceptable for men. These programs of putting men in jail for debt is no longer acceptable, and we can't allow that in a civilized society. And then the MRA will say, oh, look, we did our job, and really it'll be like the whole world just gets a Mgtow philosophy.
Yeah. I mean, just a similar point is here in the UK we have a group of young men, or mostly young men, and they refer to them as NEETs. That's NEETS, I think it is.
NEETs?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's referring it's referring to the term or the description of not in education, employment, training, or other studies, basically dropped out, disappeared, not even claiming unemployment benefit. And they reckon it was running at about 500,000 men or youths per year.
Okay, them are Mgtows, you know.
Well, this is the point, you know, going back to the original conversation when I first joined, that you know, there's lots of people out there, men, obviously men, that are not aware of Mgtow. I've never heard of it, not even heard of the manosphere, probably not even been on the internet much.
Have you met them personally, brother? Met any personally or online?
What do you mean, met? What, these NEETs?
Yeah, these neat fellas.
Well, I used to be, for quite a few years, I was involved in education, further education, that side of things. So that was brought up as a concern. You know how the governments every so often bring out what do you call training programs? No, like, do you remember YTS?
YTS, yes, Youth Training Scheme.
Yeah, and then ET.
Employment.
Training, yeah, affectionately known as extra tenor. Yeah.
Was fair. Was it?
Well, the last time when I was in education, the one that they brought out was for the disaffected youth. I can't remember the name of it. But the point being is that the government continue to come up with these schemes to try and give the youth something to do to stop them turning into drug addicts, chavs, burglars, you name it. But the problem that they had was once they left school, even if they attended school, they went missing.
Missing.
Yeah, missing. Basically, so basically, what happens is because I don't know whether you're aware of it, Joe, but there's quite a substantial welfare scheme in the UK for single mothers. Well, what they tend to do, I mean, it's a career choice for the young girls: get pregnant, get a house, get benefits, etc., etc. Yeah. So these young chavs just hook up a single mother and live off her benefits while he's out selling a bit of gowns, doing a bit of robbing, thieving, whatever. But he's nowhere on the system unless he gets, arrested or something. But there's hundreds of, well, now it'll be millions, but these young men have fell right through the safety net, and that is our next couple of generations. So, going back to the original point, yes, they are Mgtow, but not in the term that we would use, if you know what I mean.
Scary
well, that's what's happened, and you could blame it on feminism or gynocracy or what, globalization. There's many things you could blame it on, but the point of the matter is, many men, young men, have realised that there's bugger all out there for them.
Yeah.
The future society of rioters.
Well, yeah, it's frightening, but maybe just as well we do have such strict gun control in the UK. Imagine these chaps getting hold of bloody AK-47s and God knows what else.
Yeah, I reckon the policemen would be the biggest targets. I think the policemen will get the brunt of the bullets.
Ironically, I mean, what you find, well, what I tend to think is when society starts breaking apart, people at the lower end, and I don't mean just policemen, I mean anybody with a uniform, anybody seen as an authoritative figure, will be a target for these nutters. I mean, I know of places around Liverpool where ambulances go and fire brigade go, but they have to have police escorts because they get bricked. And
I've seen that now. Yeah. So whenever there's a fire, they call out the fire brigade, and quite often the fire brigade they get attacked.
They get attacked, yeah. Same with the ambulance crew, they get attacked. But so they send police in with them now.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, we've got Logical Lone Wolf who's joined us here. Say hello, Lone Wolf. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah,
that is cool. Yeah. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, that is so cool, man. Yeah, you got to do this every time you come on now. Yeah.
I found that for like $2 or $3 at a really cheap dollar store.
Oh, that's that's got to be a signature, buddy. Do that, please.
But I wanted to say to because you guys were speaking about feminism, like, and I found this girl. She's actually picking apart the criminal code of Canada in terms of like false allegations and how easy it is to put a guy behind bars and stuff like that.
Very easy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I've been looking for this information for a while, but it's all legal jargon to me. So when I found her name is actually Clary Jackson.
Clary Jackson. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm telling you, Zeta, as a fellow Canadian here.
Yeah. No. There's some shit going on, and I think it's also of interest to the rest of the world, and because Canada more than likely will be the flagship for all these policies, to take place. I mean. And so I'll definitely look her up, because there's also even, what's his name, John the Other did a piece on, who's that Canadian lawyer who's trying to legalize women killing their husbands or abusive husbands and get off scot-free. There's all kinds of shit going on in policies being put in place.
Diana Davidson was talking about her too.
She's got the lowdown on everything there. But point taken, Wolf. There's all kinds of shit going on in Canada right now, and also seeing with this new government under Justin Trudeau how it's going to impact a lot of these policies you're talking about.
Yeah, and a really interesting video of what she did was she brought up excuses of why false allegation could happen. And then she brought up the criminal code of, in a rape charge, what the defense is not allowed to use. Do you know what I mean? And they're all in coordinates with these excuses why they would file a false allegation. So, like, say for instance, the woman is literally mentally insane.
Yeah.
She can just make the whole thing up. The defense cannot use her mental state as a defense. Like, it's actually quite disgusting.
Well, I mean, that's going against every. Well, we know it. We see right through that, don't we? But this is what's going on, okay? And this is what, if anybody can chime in about that.
Yeah, is that burden shifting?
Wasn't there a statistic, something to do with, is it 40% of the adult female population is on some sort of medication? Is it 30% or 40%? Something like that.
I don't know what the number is.
Which, I mean, the joke to it is that means there's 70% running around untreated. If you get the joke. But the truth of the matter is, there's an awful lot of women that are being treated with all sorts of antidepressants and God knows what else.
Yeah, that's because the health system, the mental health system, is so gynocentric. It tends to, and women they're unhappy now. They're on this whole feminism thing has left them in the most unhappy state that they've ever been in. So of course, there's going to be 40 to probably 60% of them that are just miserable in their lives, and. And with the lone wisp question, they switched the burden of proof to the male or the defendant. Instead of having to prove that someone is guilty, you have to prove your innocence.
Yeah, exactly. And like our system is really messed up, because she was talking about any evidence that you bring in your defense, it has to be approved by the judge first before he can even bring it to the case. Like, it's crazy. Like, I had no idea how bad our system actually was.
Oh, it's awful.
It's not just social attitude. Like, this is in our criminal code, like our laws and shit. Like, it's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I can tell you stories, Canadian stories, that link back to the family response office. I lost a friend to suicide, based on his divorce settlement. It was awful.
I had a buddy blow his brains out last year.
Oh shit! Yeah. Aaron Pitsey talked about the Canadian situation, and basically it's a silver bullet, okay, in the woman's favor. In many times over, and I'm also talking as someone who was threatened with a false rape allegation back in the early '90s, as well. But it talks about the facility that women have in this country, to make shit happen to this extent. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're 54% of the society.
Yeah.
Is that not the case across the Western world, though? It's not just Canada. It's although I agree it's probably far worse, but women across the Anglosphere have that ability, one way or the other.
Well, and it seems to be the Anglosphere because there's so many patterns and similarities between the Australias, the UKs, America, and Canada, right? It's all Anglosphere, mentality there, and there's Victorian undertones, from all this stem from Betty. It's uncanny. Right, and I mean, I'm just an observer because I'm an immigrant to North America, and I'm pretty much on the sites, on the side stands, observing all this, and have observed this over 40 years, right? And it's crazy. It's absolutely. I would not want to have any brush with Canadian law in any form whatsoever.
No way, man.
Yeah, in any form, I just don't trust it. I don't trust it at all.
Especially in terms of relationships.
Oh, jeez.
You're fucked. There's no hope for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trudeau's father was the original guy that said he wants the government out of your bedroom.
That's right. Yeah, that was Pierre Elliott Trudeau's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that was his
The nation has no business in the bedrooms.
Right, but look where they've taken it from there, and his son now is like he's the guy in your bedroom. I mean, he's the worst. He produced the worst quality person ever. And he's like a social. They want more in your bedroom, and he never listened to his father's words.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, this is the change of the tiding of the times.
Yeah,
we're in a different zone now.
You guys are just going through what we had. We had George Bush Jr. and yeah, he was the same kind of product as Trudeau you have now. Plato had a lot to say about what capitalism would become. And one of his major complaints when he was in The Republic, the book The Republic, was that capitalism was described as a system that would produce wealthy people and wealthy presidents that sons would become presidents. Their sons, and then it would become totalitarianism in its own manner.
Oh, the dynamic is no surprise. It's more than likely, and it seems to be leading that way. We're going to see what happens here north of the border.
It's going to be an interesting few years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The next 4 years will be very interesting between marijuana decriminalization and what's going to happen in the legal system, too, as well. I mean, and more than likely, if any of these laws will pass, the general public will not see them, okay? Keep an eye out on the Greg Allen Elliott trial that's coming up now in January. Let's see what happens. If he gets convicted, I would bet my bottom bippy that he's not going to even make the main news or even the mainstream in any shape or form.
Well, that's the thing. That's the main reason I haven't been putting up a lot of the content I've been writing, because I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this in Canada. Like, I could get in trouble. I don't want to see myself, in a courtroom ending up paying $100,000 like this guy is, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, there may come a time, guys, that us in Canada, we might have to restrain ourselves in our speech in the up and coming because of obvious reasons.
We do that anyway. Do you not think we do that anyway? I mean, with this politically correct, PC stuff that we all have. It's not just Canada, it's this.
We share a lot of commonalities, Betty.
Careful.
Yeah, we share a lot of commonalities, and I'm speaking between Canada and UK and maybe even Australia. Yeah. Americans, you guys, you have it too free. No, I'm not saying that, but we have similarities there, and I see a lot of Victorianism, backing that up. That hasn't, and especially here in Canada, that hasn't shook off as yet.
Well, that's interesting.
Especially here in the province of Ontario.
If I can address that, Betty, I mean,
please.
What kind of things do you think were most restricted in talking about or addressing? I mean, what kind of things would you say? I mean, if you imagine right now we had no restrictions on freedom of speech, what would you say right now to the?
Well, what I noticed. Sorry, go ahead, Betty. Yeah, let's hear it, Betty, please.
What I notice is not so much as certain things. It's just the general atmosphere. Just to sort of sidetrack it for a moment, something that Spetsnaz said, and I think it was so poignant, was that men aren't afraid of women. They are afraid of not being able to defend themselves emotionally, financially, or legally.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a long time. I've been saying I'm not afraid of women. I'm afraid of what they have the ability to do.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So it's not so much as picking on certain things that you can't say. It's just so widespread. You know, that 1 minute you could say, for an example, you could have a joke with one woman that might be a little raunchy, and the next day she could have you up in front of human resources or whatever. You know, it's just that like sort of Damocles hanging over you all the time.
Right. Yeah.
You never know. You just never know.
Yeah, that's the scary part about Health and Human Services or human resources, is that they become the law, and then when they'll become by proxy justice systems.
Well,
they'll just start handing out. They'll start handing out.
They are fully aware of it.
Yeah, that's their system. That's what we can't involve ourselves in their system.
And to take it back to the conversation that I was listening to earlier on while I was searching for my inbox, regarding this with the MRAs, a comment that I quite regularly make is that MRAs at best will achieve nothing more than slight improvements in prison conditions. Now, if you tie that in with what we've just talked about there, you can see the futility of them writing a strong letter to their congressman or MP.
Yeah, that becomes all ridiculous because they're not listening. I always say they don't hear us, and they don't listen. So what's the use of?
It's a joke. It's a joke, isn't it? It's a farce. It's a non-runner, you know. And then what usually comes out is, oh, you're running away. You're defeatist. You're cowards. You're this. No, I'm being realistic. I know you're
being realistic, right? Yeah, you guys they're pissing in the wind. That was the point of the story that I told. That was one of your guys' stories. I can't remember who told it, about the girl trying to get the free holiday. The women know. It's not like they don't know. They talk about these things. It's only the men that perceive that they don't know these things, so they feel they have to tell them. No, you don't have to tell them nothing. They know they do these things. And it's futile to telling them. You have to, you know what you have to do? The walking away, like in the three girls in the story. The one was trying to get a holiday, and she was going to get the holiday from the one of the guys were going to pay for the holiday. If all three of those men would have walked away and said, "No, we can see that gold digging bitch," and then just walked away, that was the cure. You know.
Well, they all are, Joel. There's no Waltz or not all women. There's no unicorn. They're all like that.
They're all like that. They talk between them. They know how to work the system. They know what the system's about. They know everything we know that we try to tell them. They know. They just ignore it because it works for them. It's a futile. Being an MRA and trying to send letters it's futile. They know it.
It's like with the Borg, isn't it? Resistance is futile.
Yeah, it's like the Borg. Resistance is futile. You have to deal with the Borg in a special way. Either you have to run from them or shoot bullet. We're not allowed to shoot bullets at them and cure this thing. So
are we not being a bit defeatist there, though?
You live the fight another day by walking away, and you take your utility with you. That's what I always say. They'll get it. They will get it because guess what? They don't have to use anymore. They don't have these two strong arms.
Yeah, it's called taking your power back.
I take my power back, and then, go do what you're going to do over there, and just do that. But one day you're going to need these two strong arms. And I'm talking
traditionalism is just another form of slavery.
Yeah, it's just another form of slavery. When we walk away, we take everything about ourselves. We just don't take.
This is the interesting thing, though, Joe. Again, I know perhaps these content producers aren't the flavour of the month, but the Thinking Ape, for instance, he was talking about this, with women and the power that they have and all this sort of stuff. And I think It was a video he produced, the male desire for unfreedom. I think it was him. And the truth of the matter is, feminism, as we have often said, the unintended consequence has been to awaken many men. Now the thing is, the stable door is open, but yet many men still do not want to leave the plantation, despite all the evidence, despite everything.
Yeah, now that's that's our job to do that. That's the Mgtow, and that's where the MRAs can help us out by calling them names, by using those shaming tactics, by saying simps and manginas and pussy beggars. That's why we do that, because the only way we're gonna get them through that door is by telling them what they are. And then we get this thing thrown back at us that you guys are using shaming language. Hell yes, we're using shaming language, because that's the only thing that works on men.
You see, again though, Joe, I go back to this. You can never tell who is genuine, who is an infiltrator, who's a site destroyer.
Oh, they'll always tell on themselves. Yeah, well, you're pretty good at picking it up, and I'm pretty good at picking it up. Who's them gentle rhetorical lines that they try to weave, and it's no. I reject that. I reject that totally, and that's the Mgtow stance. You see these pussy beggars. You know a Mgtow when you see a Mgtow, and you know a pussy beggar when you see a pussy beggar. And they're always going to try to gently weave that same message, that go back to the farm, get yourself a girlfriend, and do that gynocentric.
Joe, do you know what annoys me or irritates me more than anything with these beggars or whatever, is the willingness to throw any other man under the bus.
Oh yeah.
And that's even from so-called MRAs.
Yeah, they will throw each and every one. They argue between them. They make putting videos between them and everything, and they do that constantly. And they're always arguing. They get so used to that arguing, they think they can come over to the Mgtow space and argue with us. But we're not arguing with them. I don't care. I usually just say something, the stupidest thing that comes to my mind. That's what I'll say to them, and they don't get it.
For a while, yeah. For a while, I was much the same as yourself. I mean, I would, stand my ground and argue back with them, and more annoyed with the fact that they was coming on to something that was of no real concern to them. But then, like, going back to that, the chat that you observed with that woman and the Swedish guy that was on the other night.
Yeah.
You're pissing in the wind. It's not, there are other infiltrators, women, or feminists, or whatever. Or even if they are really genuine MRAs, you're still pissing in the wind. They're going to have to get badly burnt, or I don't know. So then comes in my apathy. I just think that, you know what, all I can do is just keep on posting and leave it to them.
Yeah, that's all we can do is because you said it. We're just pissing in. They're just pissing into the wind. They don't see it. They're not going to get it. But still, our job here is to keep bringing men in and waking up men.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. We got to focus on men.
Yes, though, Joe. You got to be careful when they come on, not just your channel, but all these others, because what happens is, it's a well-known tactic of site destroy, or whatever you want to call them. And before you know where you are, you've got a complete thread that started off on a really interesting topic, derailed over something, a drama mistake, or and you're like, oh, you know what? I've said my piece. If you don't like it, sod off. That's me lot. I'm not arguing anymore.
You can no longer kick them off your thread either. Once they're on your thread, you can either ban them. There's a choice of banning them or reporting them for spam. So you got to report them for spam now when they start doing that. But they can easily derail the thread of a really interesting topic, and that's what they do. They always do that. We always get every time we start.
They've done that for years, though, Joe.
Yeah, that's what the part that's frustrating to me, because And then they complain about, oh, you guys are just banning. They complained about Messenger just banning people, but Messenger was banning people because they were destroying the thread. And that's when we get our most interesting ideas, after we sit and we talk about these things for a while on a thread, and then we come to a summation. And but if you got one of these site destroyers on there, you know, they just derail the topic with silly rhetoric and rhetorics.
Well, yeah, and it's just you end up turning your hair out and saying, you know what, I'm buggering off. I'm leaving. I'm closing down my channel. I'm off. Yeah. And that's how they get placed. People totally pissed. They defeat you through frustration and nonsense.
Yeah, they defeat you. Yeah, death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that saying? Never argue with an idiot, because they beat you with experience and all that. Yeah. Well, that's what you get, isn't it? You suddenly find that you've been arguing on a thread for past 3 or 4 nights, and you're about 1 million miles away from the original point.
Yeah.
And you think, what the hell was all that about?
Yeah. Yeah. So how do we handle that?
So,
do you just rage out right away?
Well, what I'm saying is, well, yeah, because
or report them for spam. I'm skeptical. Yeah. I just report them for spam now.
I'm skeptical. Like, you know, I mean, a lot of the time I'm quite cutting humour, because I like to lighten things a bit anyway. Like, but you know, I can be just like, well, Luke, this is my point, that's your point. Tell you what, like the Swedish chap that was on the other night chatting with me, calling us, like, you know, running away and everything else. And all I could say to him was, well, come back here in 6 months, a year, or 5 years' time, and tell us all what you've achieved as an MRA.
Yeah, give us.
I've said that. Yeah, I've said that over the past, like, 30 years. I mean, what the very first one that I remember having a lengthy argument with was some guy that was saying we was alienating half the population, and we needed to get women on our side, and they would, you know, stand by us and change the laws and everything. And I said to him at the time, well, I'll tell you what, let me know when you've got a group of women gathered, and I'll, you know, whatever you are, I'll come and try and support you in your process outside the family courtrooms with all these groups of, you know, large groups of women. Let me know when you've got them. And ironically, he never made another comment.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting way to look at it. When you guys get all this stuff done in the courts, let me know, because it's been happening. We've been dealing this with how like, you know, we're all pretty old, so we've been doing this a long time, and I know a lot of the guys don't see this, but we've had these arguments 1,000 times with these MRAs, and they haven't achieved a thing. And so the thing is, like, show me what you achieved.
Right,
you know?
well, listen, let's look at over here in the UK. We've got the Fathers for Justice. Bloody hell, they even got onto the roof of Buckingham Palace, nearly got creamed by the you know, the Secret Service. Imagine climbing, well, it's like, you know, the White House or whatever. Imagine climbing over the railings in a Batman suit and God knows what else. You'd be lucky if you weren't shot on sight. Right, have they achieved anything?
No.
They certainly raised they raised the awareness of the plight of fathers, but that's as far as it got.
Yeah, and then 2 days later, it's forgotten, whatever they do, unless they take a real action. Yeah. Now, that's what the difference between Mgtow is. We're a real action. No matter what the MRAs think, walking away is an action that leads to another action. That leads to another action. I get accused of not doing nothing. No, I'm doing something. I'm walking away. Yeah. And I take that as a philosophy in everything I do.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
But most MRAs can't seem to grasp this idea. I tell you something else that gets throws a spanner in the works. They seem to think or try and project the idea onto Mgtow that we're trying to change something, we're trying to change society. And I say, no, Let society do whatever it's going to do. I am doing my own thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to change anything.
I don't. Yeah,
And
it's
then,
not up
and
to
then,
me to change
and
anything.
and then they do the woman thing and say, no, what you're really doing is you're running away. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get women to. And I'm like, no, listen to what I am saying. And they try and twist it another way, then twist it another way to try and suit what they want you to be.
To try to suit what they want you, yeah. Yeah, walking away, if something happens incidentally that changes things, fine. But I'm done with that. I'm at that level of apathy where I don't really give a shit about what they do out there.
It's not going to happen, Joe, is it? Nothing. You know as well as I do. Nothing is going to change.
Nothing is going to change,
except for the fact that you're going to have more and more men slinging the hook, and more women confused as to why they've done it. And even if they did know why men have walked away, they still do bugger all to change.
Yeah, nothing's going to change in those people. And if anything, the MRA has made it worse.
Yes, they've confused.
That's right. I was going to say they did.
You can look at all the defeats and then everything that's happened since the MRA has started. They've made things worse by, it's like when you throw sand in somebody's eyes. Yeah, they're going to have sand for a minute, but then they're going to be really pissed after that. And they're going to be and they're going to be passive, and that's the way women are. They're passive. They're going to be vindictive. You're not going to see what's coming, and that's what they're doing. They're just inciting them to be bigger idiots and to make more laws.
They will figure out ways to slit your throat with a cotton wad, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so what they're really doing is having a negative effect on men, and then they're sitting back and snickering about it. And that's what bothers me about these MRAs, because it is just walk away. Do what you're going to do. Do your activism silently and privately in the confines of your own house. Do what Mgtows do, and decide one day, like I did, I'm not going to drive no more because I'm not going to put no taxes or sign up for those systems or give them any more money. That's a real action. As soon as we all start doing that, there will be some kind of change. Incidentally, not because we're yelling or screaming, just because we're doing what we want to do. They'll change. Once they have known, the best thing you can do with a woman that wants to argue is just not argue, walk away from her. That pisses her off.
They hate that. They really do.
Don't argue with them, because then they explode in their head, and that's what we're saying. If we do not argue, they will have no one to argue with. They'll self-destruct and they'll explode because they'll start eating their own tail. Don't give them no credit at all. Don't even pay attention to their existence.
Just be indifferent.
Just be indifferent.
Speaking of that, did you guys see TFM's new video of how they changed divorce laws back in China?
Yeah, we were just talking about that
I was
earlier.
watching that earlier on. Yeah.
I was like, the irony, man. That is so funny, and that they actually have the nerve to complain. Saying, "Oh my gosh, I don't get the house." Of course you don't. You didn't pay for it.
And actually, it's always been like that, but they've only just put it into law because I theorize that feminism is moving into China. So some feminists, they've been putting pressure on the legal side of the government to change legislation, because it's always been like that. China has never needed a law to do that. Men, as I said,
the thing is, though, Shining. Go on, mate.
No, you go.
The thing is, though, I mean, there is also the theory that feminism stemmed from places like China.
Well, how could that be possible?
Well, Marxism.
No, I think you got to go. I think you got to go to really study that culture. You got to include the 3,000 years to come up to where they're at today, and of course how Mao Zedong changed that around in the revolution, right?
Yeah, Karl Marx wasn't Chinese.
I'm sorry?
I says Karl Marx wasn't Chinese.
No, Karl Marx was not Chinese.
No, it's communism, isn't it? The idea that there is no family, there's only the state and everything else.
I know, but communism didn't come from China. Yeah, China became communism, but it didn't come from China.
That's right.
Yeah, but the point that I'm trying to get at is it's come from these sort of countries. The idea that to rule over the people, you can't have a family as such. You can't have the traditional family.
That being said, though, even at the height of communism in China, the family was still the center of everything. In fact,
that's right.
The grandparents, the grandma, the older they were, the great-grandparents, the older they were, the more valued they were. So the family was always in there. I mean, regardless of Marxism and communism, China always had its own culture.
Is it China or Japan that had like the herbivore man?
It's Japan.
What was it?
It's Japan. But you see, that was my point in the Christmas hangout. I was saying, what is the only difference between China and Japan in terms of gynocentrism and tradition and that sort of a thing? And it's that Japan has that law. Japan has the law where, on a woman say so, the man gets arrested. China has never had that. Now it's only and then of course TFM released that video, and I was saying, I'm sure I said it on a hangout on one of my videos. I was saying that precise law. TFM rightly pointed out that law was passed in 2011, so over nearly 4 years ago. And I was saying the only reason why they passed it, because you've all heard the saying that there's only a remedy needed if there's a problem. Now the thing is, I'm saying that feminism is spreading into China because of that, because feminists are trying to put pressure on the government to have the same type of Western laws. But what TFM didn't find out is recently China's just put in a law where a man can get arrested on accusation of domestic violence. This is brand new to China. Now, what I'm saying also is it's going to take time for that to run down through the culture, because just as it was in the UK, I mean, during World War II they had that domestic violence. After World War II they had the feminism, the feminist movement, Feminism too, and they had the domestic violence things, but the law didn't pass down. People didn't start actually acting on it until like 10 years later, when all these all these filmmakers and all these media started coming out about how men were so were such women beaters, and I'm saying that's probably what might happen in China, possibly.
Yeah,
possibly. But anyway, I was listening to that feminist guy. I mean, Betty was talking about how much he enjoyed the MRA guy, but I think he sounded more feminist, and he actually he made me think about something he said, because he said something that nobody was able to talk to. Look,
what it is, Shining.
Yeah.
When I've been on and off these sites for many years now. And it's a weird sort of thing that you develop, a skill you develop. You can actually sort of detect female writing. You just sort of get a feeling. Sort of know when there's a bloke that's writing. There's men's. I can't put it into words, but you can tell when they sort of just how they start arguing. There's like a little hint of shaming language coming in, and a little bit of taking, putting words into your mouth and misquoting you, and you start going, I'm not sure. I don't think this is a bloke at all. I think this is a woman.
Yeah, you say they got that effeminate thing happening.
There's a female slant to the way that words are put together.
I know.
I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but
you're 100%
but you just get a feeling.
And you just get a feeling.
And it's the same. It's the same with the site destroyers. You'll get people come on and they'll be all agreeable and everything else, and then over a set period you'll start seeing a slight change, and then if you don't comment, you just maybe ask them or pull them up on something, and then leave it. And you come back in a week's time, and next thing they're talking about race and religion, and you're like, oh, that was a you know, quite a change. It was all nicey and everything, and now it's you know, bringing up something about, I don't know, blacks or Jews or whatever else, and before you know where you are, you've got flame wars going on.
Yeah, I know, and that's what we don't want here. Yeah,
and then that person disappears.
Yeah, I know, Betsy. I think
that's the contra game.
They sit back and then watch all the chaos.
I know.
But that's been the case for years and years, like, you know.
I know. We need to sort of like remove these guys. It's something we talked about behind the scenes. I mean, these guys they do pop up in Mgtow, and we actually get called out for pushing these guys away.
We do. Yeah. We have to come up with a better name for them, don't we?
Yeah, we call them the kids.
Well, sometimes what I like to do, though, it gets boring after a while, but sometimes what you got to do, like, it is sort of bring them out, show them, and what you have to appreciate is that there's many other men watching that chat, and if they're on the site for genuine reasons, a little penny drops, and they can start, I've seen that before. I've had women do that, argue all around the houses and, misquote this and contradict that and everything else. So they are actually learning from that. But, how long do you go on doing this for? Because, as we said earlier, it takes everything away from the original message. It could be an excellent video that somebody's put up.
Yeah.
And everybody's got their eyes on some nonsensical battle over a grammatical error or, something stupid. And that's how they do it.
Yeah, like terrorism.
Yeah, what kind of works if you just kind of stick and just keep going back to male-centric sayings.
Yes.
Just keep it. Whatever they say, just bring it back to male-centric, or I'll say messenger. Or just use it as a promotion base at a while. Shining says this, Messenger says this, TFM says this, and always bring it back to the male-centric.
Yeah, there's some cats out there. They just love drama. They love the sensationalism. They love the cat fights. They love the theatricals. And you've heard me say, Joe, 100 times, it distracts you from what we're trying to do. It distracts us from the main conversation.
Right.
It distracts us from what we were progressing onto, what we were developing. And well, that's not us. The monks of Mgtow. That's not us.
Yeah, I rarely go. I listen to TFM videos now, and maybe I'll drop in on a lot of videos, but I never leave comments on most videos. And the only place I really talk is on my MySpace, because it is MySpace, and even then I'll be having a great conversation with somebody, and then somebody else will just jump in with something stupid.
Okay, one thing I wanted to address this guy, because this guy, we actually know him. We've had history with him, and he drops in these little pieces of shit, and they linger about and sticks in people's heads. And one thing I wanted to address was, he said that men are just as capable as hurting other men as women. So why are you hating on women when men are just as capable? Now, nobody replied to that guy. I wanted to get on it, and I wanted to talk on that point. Now, the thing is, when we talk on Mgtow about women, we're not talking about your mother. We're not talking about I'm not talking about your sister. We're talking about sexual relations. A woman you have sexual relations with, you have a relationship, your wife, your girlfriend. That is who we're talking about. That's what we're talking about, guys. So that, having that said, we don't normally have that type of relationship with a man. Now, why is this important? This is important because the type of harm we're trying to warn men about, that we're addressing, we're trying to heal men from as well, is that type of relationship that leaves a man so vulnerable to betrayal, to harm, to a pain, that will, you know, that does cause men to commit suicide. Now the thing is, what kind of a position does a man have to take for him to affect you in that way? And you see, that's what I wanted to say at that point. You're never going to let a man in that intimately in your life where he can affect you to the point where you're going to commit suicide because of something that he says or does. And that's the point. Nobody answered him on that point. And the thing is, a lot of guys would have listened to that and said, oh, you know, absolutely right. You know, I've been more likely to get attacked by a man, or, you know, men are more likely to rob me. The fact
I have yet to seen that. I have not seen that yet, where a guy, like, attacks someone verbally so bad where he does suicide on the news. I've never seen that before, so I don't understand what he was talking about.
No.
Yeah.
Slightly off the topic, but similar. I mean, look at the prison population. I mean, how many of we could probably reduce it by a third, possibly half, maybe more, if there wasn't all these issues. You know, with women and most of the guys that are in prison because they've been trying to get money or impress or do something for a woman.
Exactly, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the damage that these women do on men. Now the thing is, the damage men do to other men is of a completely different type. But the fact is, that's being addressed. We have an entire system in place for when you get mugged, for when you get robbed, for when you get cheated or you know, duped. We have that in place, but there's nothing in place for when men get betrayed by women. In fact, the system helps women to do that, and that's why when
do you know what?
Go on.
One of the interesting areas that I mean, when I went through all the, you know, similar to Joe and Messenger Rise and quite a lot of other men, there was nothing, absolutely nothing available for men. No explanation, no support, nothing, except more derision, more humiliation, etc. And one of the things that I desperately tried to find answers for, or answer, you know, somebody to explain it to me, was the emotional abuse that is so difficult to detect. And that was when that Erin Pizzi brought out, you know, the emotional terrorist and the violence prone. And the excerpt that from a book that sort of spoke volumes to me was where she said the emotional terrorist of the family, i.e. the woman, is the most difficult to detect, and even with years and years and years of therapy, you're probably never going to cure her.
You see, and this is where
sadly, I would say the vast majority of women are well capable of behaving in such a manner, but nobody, not even society, not even the psychiatric, whatever, will address it. Hence why Erin Pizzi eventually got death threats, bomb threats. I don't know if you know the history of Erin, but she was even having police guards because she was actually
she had to leave the country.
Truth.
She had to leave the country for a year.
She was telling the truth about women.
And you see,
so it wasn't just feminists; it was women.
This is the problem that we're trying to tackle as men, and this is why we talk about women in the way we do. It's not because we hate them. It's not because we want to kill women or attack women. It's because we want to save men. We want to help men, and this is the point. And I mean, when people
revealing the nature to men,
and when people come up and say, "Oh, but you know, men hurt other men," that's not the problem that we're trying to tackle. And it senses me when guys
is that not just another case of deflection and denial?
Deflection, exactly. This guy came on and he deflected the entire thing. Now my point is, any guy that's
guy.
I know he's a woman, wasn't he? He came on and guys are going to listen to that and they're going to think, oh yeah, he's right. But he's not right, because no, you're never going to let a man into your life to the point where...
This is the problem, though, isn't it? It's this with the MRAs and men as well, you know, just men in general. They're adding to the confusion.
I know.
Yeah, but is it a law? Is it a law for me to, like, falsely accuse Shining or something? No, it isn't. They have that power. We don't. So they have more of a threat to us under the law.
Yeah,
so,
but it's not just.
Well,
yeah,
that's a perfect example of why I'm here right now.
Yeah, because like, let's just say, just to put those pussy beggars at ease. We're not saying all women are like that, but they do have the potential with the laws at hand.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's more than
the last one of them.
It's more than that. It's not
exactly, Shining. It's far more than that.
It's not a potential. They get encouraged.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's
not just that though. It's not the fact that they're getting encouraged. They're actually enjoying, as I once said. They're actually. It's like watching a mouse with a cat with a three-legged mouse.
Yes,
when a woman has divorced a bloke, got caught humping his best mate, cleaned him out, had him turfed out, falsely accused, lost his job, God knows what else, then put him through alimony, child support and everything, and then deny him access to the kids. I mean, that is even beyond this fucking sick psychopath.
I would never do something like that. If I need child support, I'd just take the child support and get out. I wouldn't wait till they're homeless and push them to the brink of suicide, then move on to my next host. That is freaking evil. That is evil.
Evil, exactly, and that's what we say. We say women are evil, and we say no. We can't say that.
Yeah, but then take enjoyment in watching it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if that's not evil, I mean, what is? I mean, that level of betrayal. This man that you had children. This man that supported you for years, even decades. This man.
We don't even know if it's his children though. How can you be so sick and make another man raise another child without telling him till he's fucking 18 that it's not your child?
Well, I know, I mean, there's many variations to this, but one from my own experience is to watch, and this is exactly what Aaron Pizzi was talking about, was the emotional terrorist, the most difficult to uncover, who sits back and smiling, sat there like the saintly woman, but she's actually caused absolute mayhem, and this is what also adds to the confusion. But I mean, a simple example is where you see a woman crying just to get sympathy, ignoring the fact that she's probably just fucking shafted somebody, but she's there crying, getting all the white knights and the sympathy and everything else. And that's
and the
one
government.
Why winds most men up is because they are there with a woman saying, "Oh no, he can see his kids anytime he wants. I am not stopping him." And everybody thinks, "Oh, it's just the bloke. He's being a bastard." When the truth of the matter is, when he goes to see him, she'll probably whisper in his ear, "You have him back at not 5 minutes later than I say so, and if you do, I'm going to phone the police and have you arrested."
It's worse than that. Worse. Last time I went to visit my kids, she called.
That's just an example,
Yeah, she called the police. I mean, and then she goes and tells everybody. My ex tells everybody that she doesn't stop me from seeing my children. But when I go see the police, when I go see my kids, she calls the police. Said, "Oh, we have a trespasser. We have a trespasser on our private property. Please come." They remove me. They remove me from the premises. I said, "I'm here to see my kids." So no, they say, "No, you just have to leave. You can't. You can't be here." And a lot of men know this. A lot of men know that women break the visiting orders. I mean,
you know what I find funny? You know what I really find funny? They could put a restraining order on the guy and do all things in a book, and the public could know about this and still blame him at the end of the day. He should try harder. But
yeah.
Are you never allowed to see your children?
What world do we live in? He should try harder. Huh?
No, I've not seen my kids in 3.5 years.
Hey, you know what the problem is? Maybe you. They'll say Zeta should try harder, which is not Zeta. Shining should try harder.
Do you know?
Ridiculous.
Going back to something we was talking earlier about how this is affecting women. Where I live just now, Shining, there's a a single woman that's moved in not so long back, and she has caused absolute chaos. There's been police, there's been you name it. Now, the fella that obviously she split from has come round on a few occasions to try and see his kids, and straight away the police arrive. She's got one of these panic buttons or God knows what else. And she's the biggest shit stirrer, a two-faced woman. Everybody knows her.
That's normal.
But yet everybody slags this bloke off. Now, she's had him arrested a few times for turning up, and you can hear him screaming and shouting out the front. I've come to see my thumb, and they've just said, no, sorry, she's got this, she's got whatever, restraining up, whatever, off car.
I've seen it. I've seen it so often.
Now, just to add to that, over the Christmas period, this was last Christmas, not this one, just gone. Obviously the grandparents or the fella's mother turned up to pick a grandson up. She phoned the police on him again. And you had two women out the front, an older woman and this ex, slagging each other off, screaming and shouting, with the kids screaming in tears, and the police not knowing which way to turn, but she basically got turned away. And she's saying, I'm the grandmother, and they're saying, sorry, it doesn't matter. So it's come back to bite them on the arse, if you know what I mean.
I know. I've seen it so often. In fact, almost every case of divorce where there's been children involved.
And then though, Shine, what happens is when the dust settles, all the women come out and they're all there, you poor thing. And she's caused it all.
I know. That's our culture. That's our culture.
It's like she's snickering like the Joker, and they're like, "Oh, poor you." Like, did you not just see what happened?
No, but she harbors that. She cultivates that. You know, she wants some. She wants.
And you can't say anything, because if you do raise anything, you'll find that blokes around you will then turn on you. Yeah,
that's
well,
right.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So this is why I am of the same sort of sentiments as Joe, where I just show my ass to the world and say, well, sod you. I'm off. I'm doing my own thing. Leave me alone. Don't care. Done my best. Argued. Done everything.
Yeah, but even when we walk away, look at this though. Even when we walk away.
Even when you walk away.
I'm sorry, who's that?
That's his female friend, or I thought she was a female, probably.
Sounded female.
Sister or mother or.
Yeah, you're right, Paul.
Shining, you're not telling us something? Have you had an operation or out?
Oh, I think that was somebody's wife.
Was it?
Ooh.
It's somebody's wife.
No.
James, Joe, are you married?
Warning!
Exactly.
Head for the hills.
Run for the hills, man. Run for the hills.
That was awesome.
That was pretty good, actually. How's this going?
Yeah.
What? There's a woman present?
Morning, it's the wife. Oh, that was good. That's a sound effect for Eric.
Okay.
Is Eric married?
Is Eric married? I don't think Eric's married.
Which Eric? Eric Weingard?
Weingard, or Weisengard.
It's
Here's
Weingard.
an interesting thing. Angry Harry is married.
Is it?
And
Yeah.
then again,
is
he's got
he?
Mgtow. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever Mgtow. I think it was pre-Mgtow. He's
No, but he you know.
he's the original
despite whether
MRA.
Mgtow or not.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't even call him an MRA. It was just against what feminism had done.
Yeah.
Did you get AWM or?
Sorry, say again.
Is he a AWM? Awakened? Wow.
No, I think he's been around since even in the college days.
Dinosaurs. He's been around since the
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
God, I remember listening to him in the 80s or something almost.
He was more interested in how badly men were being treated and what feminism had done, and quite a lot on the true nature of women. He wasn't obviously wasn't a man going his own way as such.
He provided a lot
by what we did.
Yeah, he provided a lot of good information at that point that nobody else was saying.
Oh yeah.
You know, to say those things, you remember what it was like at first to say those things on the internet. You would get drummed up.
Joe, I tell you this, mate. If I hadn't have found Angry Harry when I did, I would not be here. My head was totally cabbaged. I couldn't figure out anything. I was going through the family courts, the denied access, you name it, family against me, the whole lot. Couldn't find them, searched the libraries, everything. And then, just by chance, I think I must have typed in, I fucking hate feminism or something. And lo and behold, up come Angry Harry's site. And it was like a drug. I could not wait until his next upload, if you know what I mean. I think it was once a week at the time.
Yeah, I remember hearing, I was still married when I heard Angry Harry for the first time, and we were sitting around drinking beers in the room and listening to the BBC, I think of the BBC broadcast, and we were listening to what he was saying. All of our jaws just dropped, like we were just amazed at this guy. What's this guy saying? What's he saying? And the two guys were angry, and I remember me going, "No, he's making sense." Yeah. So that was an indication.
I used to love reading his. He used to post his hate mail, and some of them were classics, like the letters that he was getting from, or emails from women and men.
Yeah.
That he'd have death threats, everything, the whole lot. But he was such an excellent writer, and obviously a very smart man.
Oh yeah.
And he basically destroyed them in one response, Well.
Yeah, we used to get, we started our small groups back in the day. We used to get those the blue pill married guys that they would. Daily, hourly, momently, they would threaten to kill us, and they all thought we were talking about their wives. And we were talking about your wives, but they couldn't see that.
I'm not telling you to your face.
Yeah, and it's like and then the site would go down for no reason at all, or they would it would just be a constant attack. There was like so few of us, and so. That were willing to speak up and say anything, but look at it now from those guys, back then in the day.
Well, this is the thing though, Joe. When people say, "Oh, well, we've not really achieved much," I'm not on about the MRAs. Yeah. I'm just on about men waking up in general. It doesn't matter whether whatever label you want to give them.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, men, for whatever reason, mostly the internet, obviously, but gynocracy outside, the penny is starting to drop with them, one way or the other.
Yeah, that is starting to drop.
I wouldn't say you could notice it when you go out. You don't sort of meet somebody who says they're a Mgtow, but you just get a feeling that something is changing.
Oh, I talked to men, that say things that we say now out in public, and years and
you'd have been terrified of saying years ago.
Yeah, it was as short as 1992 or 1993. You weren't allowed to say these things. It was terribly looked down at. The climate has changed so much now that I relate it to and I hate to use it, and I always say it, but it's the only thing I can think of that worked the same way. It's a gay parade. A gay parade desensitizes the masses. That's what a gay parade is for. When we started yelling on the internet and we started yelling these things out loud, it desensitizes all the men to be able to say it themselves when they get in one of those situations.
I tell you what I do notice, Joe. Not that I've not had a television for years, and I don't read any mainstream newspapers. But on the internet, where they still have an article will come up, and there's a comment section. The amount of men that are commenting when it's against men or in favour of a woman doing, you know, or something else. But the comment sections are overwhelmingly
Right.
by men saying, no, that's out of order, no, this is whatever. And occasionally you might see somebody mention Mgtow or a voice for men or something.
You know,
but in general, men are saying it. Sorry? Sorry, Joe.
I was going to give an example after you finish, yeah.
Well, no, go on, you go.
Okay, you know what? Try this someday, guys. And I want you all to go try this, and anybody that's listening, go try this. Go over to a football page or a sports page and say something anti-gynocentric on a sports page. And that's what it used to be like on the internet. And that's what it used to be like for us old-timers. Because you will get 1,000 men saying, you can't say that, this is not the place to say that, you're an idiot, we're going to kill you. Well, you know, go to a sports page and do that. And say something MRA or Mgtow related, and they will shuffle you off. You will lose your membership to that sports page.
Well, if you want to find any more white knights than a sports page, I don't think you can get any bigger than that.
Yeah, that's something
that I learned from Angry Harry, and it was one of his suggestions when he was on about combating, you know, misandry as such, and it does leave, especially women, it leaves them quite puzzled, quite bewildered, and the trick is, whenever you see or hear of a man being maimed or murdered or shot, or you know how you sometimes, 3 men killed in such and such a thing, and make sure there's a group of women around you, wherever, and just simply say, who cares, it's only men, and walk off.
Yeah.
Or what does it matter, it's only a boy.
Yeah, that's a...
And they don't know how to take it.
Yeah, that tells us where our venue is. Because we've already defeated the internet, we've already defeated this. Where we should be going is into those sports pages and saying those things. Go find the most gynocentric place you can find, and be brave about it. Go say those things that need to be said.
Well, you know, that'll be interesting. I just ordered my spy cam, and I'd like to go into a pub with one of those and pose that question and see what their reaction is. Just like you said, Betty, that would be really interesting.
Yeah, go into the pubs, go into the...
they're just men. Who gives a fuck, anyways? And just point the camera and look at their reaction. That would be interesting.
It leaves most, especially the women, quite puzzled, because they're only too willing to start off with to say, oh well, they deserved it, or something stupid like that. You know?
Exactly. That's always a default setting.
Go the complete opposite. Yeah, and then to say, well, it was only a man. You know, as just like a sort of matter of fact, it really leaves them puzzled. But you've got to pick the venue. You know, you've got to make sure. And by the way, Joe, that you was laughing at my name of Betty Swallocks and how it spells differently when you swap a few letters around. That was originally how I got onto some of the feminist sites or the female-friendly sites. Because if I leave a message, you know, just a general nice whatever, hi, whatever, they leave you alone for a while because you're going under the name of Betty. Or they did at the time, like. But I then gradually turn it around, and before I got kicked off, I used to manage to get quite a few comments or post a few links to Angry Harry or something else. Because, you know, usually you find the sites that I went on, there was a few men on as well that were sort of on the fence. But it was like a cunning ploy, if you like. But it only worked for a short while, though. But it still amused me that I thought that I was actually under the name of, well, I was there under Sweaty Bollocks, really. But it tickled me like, but I soon get rumbled, and I used to get kicked off. But the difference, again, this is over the, you know, people coming on here, on other MRIs or male-friendly sites. They are quite lucky because they get given a lot of leeway. You go on to a feminist site and say, hi, I am Mgtow, whatever, and you'll be banned in a second the moment the moderator sees that you're a man or in favour of men's rights or something, they stop you stone cold. But yet on these sites, we have on occasions had quite a few women commenting and asking questions, and there was never attacked, or very rarely. And that's the difference again between men and women. We're prepared to give them room to say the piece. Try it the opposite way around and you've no chance. Just like trying to, as we know, trying to reason and use logic with the feminists, it just doesn't work.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Join us again next week.
Are we done?
Yeah, that's it.
I gotta go anyway. I gotta go pick up my car. I'm the mechanic.
The crickets. Is that a sound effect? Where's Joe? Joe, are you there?
He's passed out.
Joe's passed out, so that leaves us chickens here.
One too many beers.
One too many beers and everything else in between. Okay. So how are we doing? Do we have anything else to talk? What's happening in the chat room there?
That's it. Well, we're all exhausted. We've talked about everything that could ever be talked about.
That's it. Everything we've reached enlightenment. That's it. Now we can levitate and float on.
There's no more conversation.
That's it. That's it. Any questions from the chat room?
Warhorse wants to know. Warhorse has a question, but it's been lost all the way up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Johnny Midnight's been banned on Plenty of Fish many times for posting brief old slaw. This seems, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, we'll just make another account. That's what.
Just make another account. That's all you can do. I mean, imagine that, having to make multiple accounts just to get laid.
Well, that's what Warhorse is always telling me to do.
I've never done one. I haven't done any of those dating sites. I haven't a clue what it's all about. I mean, I had a hard enough time with the phone up bullshit they had back in the 90s. Tried that once, got one date, never did it again. I must be missing out.
Here's a good question from Sam Joyd. Is loving a woman and going Mgtow the same time possible from any point of view? Oh, well, we'll leave that to Betty. Betty's very, I think it'd be interesting to get Betty's perspective on that. Can you love a woman and be Mgtow at the same time?
Certainly not. For one, love, it doesn't exist. Not in the sense that we've been told. What men do is fall in lust and become, or are from an early age, addicted to praise addiction. And that's why, obviously, why you see men looking like they've got shell shock when a divorce comes. Their drug dealer has withdrawn their drug. And it's nothing to do with love. Nothing whatsoever to do with love. So it's sort of a moot point, really, Mgtow. The fact that you think that you're in love with a woman is a farce. It's a nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, you're messing with mythopoetry, really, and you're not, and you're being drifted away from the truth, and that's what makes men angry when they finally wake up to the red pill. That's what they're pissed off about, because of the fact that they were fucking lied to.
Well, I think, well, I would say yes. I mean, except for your mother.
Well, I was going to say, let me just add something there, mate.
Oh,
sorry, let me carry on. It's not just the fact that we've been lied to. It's the fact that we've been made to be a drug addict that is far, far worse than heroin and anything else by society and our mothers and the women or the whatever that we thought cared about us.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, as with any addiction, you can have attachment to that addiction without it affecting you. I mean, if your willpower, your character, your caliber is up to scratch, there's no reason why you can still have feelings for a woman, but not let those feelings affect
Yeah,
you
but
in a harsh way.
Well, that raises the issue of codependency, and we had a guy in a couple of weeks, I forgot his name, talking about who was really onto codependency, and that plays a lot, because codependency, if you go into the addiction circles, it plays out like no tomorrow. You're always going to hear something about codependency, which I see as an addiction, and that's what's going on here.
Are you guys covering that comment?
Just to add something that's on this having feelings for a woman. I mean, that's such a very a subjective feel. Everybody's got feelings. Saying I have feelings for a woman. I mean, I have feelings for my guitar. I have feelings for my harmonica. You know.
Well, there you go. And there's no reason for that to turn into something toxic. You see, where I think there's a difference between wanting to fall in love with a girl and being in love. I mean, sometimes, you can't control your emotions. Sometimes, well, I should say, you feel emotions despite yourself, I should say. Okay,
But
someone needs
like
to silence the background. We're getting a lot of background. Guys, if you can, like, silence your...
I'm going to silence mine here.
you don't have to go mute. You can just go to your notifications and just click off notifications and.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's probably I'll click that off. Sorry.
Yeah, just go to the notifications.
Isn't that like saying a heroin addict should be able to control his feelings or her feelings?
No. I think what you're trying to say is, isn't that saying heroin addicts can control their addiction?
Yeah,
that's like saying that.
Yeah, you're saying exactly that. A heroin addict should control their addiction because that's not right behavior.
Yeah, it's not. Heroin addict can't
You're not asking a question whether they're a person or not, because no, they're not a person when they're a heroin addict.
Let's keep in mind that heroin addicts, when they do get recovery, a lot of them go on the methadone program for life. Okay, so there is that aspect. It's a substitute. It's substituting the bitch for the witch, in terms of in addictive language right?
There's that, and of course, I won't name the channels, but I think that's why some of the old Mgtow channels have gone. They have gone back to that old methadone where they're sort of just tinkering and playing with the with having a relationship with them. But then you're missing out. You're forgetting about the guys that go cold turkey. You're forgetting about the guys that do kick it. There's guys that have been smoking and addicted, because cigarettes is very, very common. The addiction to nicotine was very common, and we've seen guys. I mean, my dad, he was smoking for 40 years, guys. Yeah. 40 years, and he gave it up in a week. And Universal Studios, he made his video saying that, declaring that he went cold turkey, and I think it's the same thing. I would say it's easier to kick the female worship habit than it is with a drug, because with a drug it's physical. There's a physical biological reason why you have a yearning for that for that cigarette or for that heroin. But for the woman, it's for the love, for the emotional side, it's all mental. You don't have any like pheromones or what's the word now? It begins with E. That chemical that your brain releases every time. I did a video on it. I completely forgot as well.
Oxytocin.
No, I forget about. But anyway, there's
there's dopamine released.
Yeah,
that gives you the
Yeah, so there's no physical reason why you can't kick that habit of being addicted to the woman, and I think that's the main thing. It's being addicted to the woman. I mean, yeah, then the obviously the issue comes up with is it all right to see prostitutes and so forth? Oh, sorry, just a second, I've got a phone call. It's not the wife, by the way.
So looking at the chat room here, everybody's bringing up the Nico side of things, and I think I remember that, Betty, in a comment thread when Nico put out that argument about heroin and the female addiction. Do you remember that? Hello?
Okay, are we silent here?
Yeah, it looks like we were all muted there.
Okay. Okay.
Shining had to answer, and I was trying to direct a question to Betty. Are you still with us?
Yeah. Okay, I think this is probably a good time to shut the first one off if anybody wants to start a second one later.
Yeah, maybe it would be good to take a break here, Joe, and maybe restart in about an hour or so.
Okay. Okay. And that'll be about it for today. And we talked about we had a lot of single discussions about a lot of things. And if the men have any question, they can come to their sites and talk about it. But
yeah, some of the guys have questions here too. I'm looking at Yaroslav Dorniak. Being addicted to women wouldn't be an addiction if it wouldn't harm us later. We as humans would enjoy each other as male and female, but yeah, female may fuck you over with their nature. That's exactly what we're touching base on. But yeah, these are things for that we can bring up in the second part, Joe. So any of you guys listening in, by all means, come and join us in about an hour's time. Back to you, Joe.
Okay, and then I'm going to shut this broadcast down, and you guys have a good day. I'm going to take a break, make something to eat, and I'll probably come back on later.
And likewise.
Okay, you guys take care.
Take care.